Hello, hello. Welcome to Scrim Zone. Have an exciting matchup today. This is Alec, joined by Brewer. It's a
Hello, hello.
wonderful, wonderful Thursday. We have an exciting matchup between Project Tuesdays and SR. These are top of the table teams. Brewer, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. Two of like our number one and number two team right now. And I mean, it's really a battle for first place. I think it's an exciting kind of preview of a matchup we'll probably see in playoffs at some point, whether that's in finals, winners finals, losers finals, somewhere. I expect these teams to face off again. Two of our strongest teams and a lot to play for. I mean, getting that first seed is such an advantage. And there's another team at the top of the table, Rift Sharks, but both of Rift Sharks' losses are actually to these teams. So these are the two teams that are going to be positioned for that first place spot most likely. And if you get that first place spot, you obviously get side select throughout the entirety of playoffs, which could just be absolutely massive, especially when you have teams that are so evenly faced. Snarkify's coming into this one 5-0. Project Tuesday's coming in 5-1. So yeah, I mean, I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm pumped as well, and I think it's gonna be a really exciting matchup. I think that both these teams are actually really close. I think Project Tuesdays they actually have one of the lowest point totals out of all the teams, but they play so well together. And Spiral said it in a previous interview. I think I've even mentioned it before, him saying this, but they've played together for this that group has played together for a long time. That's their flex stack. They always just run this game together, and they seem to be playing so well. And something I think that really needs to get mentioned is the person who has the second, who's also in second place with many other people for the most MVPs this season so far, which is actually Fatel.
Yeah.
Uh, or Fatal, excuse me. I'm sorry, Fatal. I'm gonna keep messing up with that. I apologize, but Fatal, he's been Fatal's been just on these hook champions. He's hitting the hooks, and he's just making it so easy to play the game. What ends up happening is they'll have a 45 team fight. Fatal hits a hook. It's boom, 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 and it's boom, boom, boom. We just because it's a 45, we just play the fight slow, chip away at them, take down one by one, win the team fight, get an objective from it. It seems to be their winning recipe. Do you have anything to say on that, Greer?
I think that's a great shout out. And I do think, one of Project Tuesday's strengths has been their team play. You mentioned it, they said they've had this built-in synergy from having played together for so long, and it definitely shows in their gameplay. They all seem so coordinated. Their team fighting is just excellent, and I just feel like in this server, in these types of games, being a strong team fighting team can really get you places. They've been in games where maybe their early game hasn't been perfect, but they've found ways to win team fights throughout to get back into them. And then they've also had games where they just kind of run away with it from start to finish when their early game does go well because they're so good at team fighting that it's hard to beat them from a deficit. And yeah, I think Fatal and Yug in particular, their bot lane has been so impressive to me, so strong. Those two players combined have 7 MVPs. So the bot lane for Project Tuesdays has been carrying a lot of the load for them. Although I don't want to diminish anyone else, they're all playing well. But what's intriguing to me about this matchup is I think that Snarkify's bot lane has also kind of been, maybe their strongest position. I think Vetus and Lelouch have been playing excellent together, especially in the past couple series. I mean, just the other night in the series against SKT, I thought Vidic and Lelouch played wonderful. A series prior to that, I thought they played really, really well. So to see these two really powerful bot lanes go up against each other, I think is going to be really explosive. And I think whichever bot lane's able to win out will probably have a pretty big edge in the series. I think both these teams look their best when their bot lane is playing well and winning.
Yeah, and let's get the predictions in just real quick. Uh, so just a shout out. So we have Drakar's prediction. Just shout out to him. He's
Okay.
saying 2-1 Project Tuesdays. Um, I'm not sure. My own prediction. I'm going with. I think Snarkify actually has it. I'm gonna go 2-1 them. Guru, I mean, what's yours? What's the final verdict?
Um, I think my prediction is going to be 2-1 for sure. I think it's going to be super close. Um, I'm gonna edge it out to Project Tuesdays though. I think it's gonna be a close series, but I'll lean them so that way we have some split on the cast. We're not going the same direction.
All right. That's nice. That's nice. And excuse me. I mean, you mentioned something earlier, which was like how Lelouch and Vitas have been playing exceptionally over the past few series. I thought that Lelouch's Seraphine game. I think this is gonna be my personal opinion, but I think she should have got the MVP for that game. I think that that was the one of the best Enchanter games I've seen like so far, like in this server, like from any player, like in particular. Just was living like was surviving constantly. Had like two deaths when the enemy team had like over 30 kills. Still had over 80% kill participation on her own side for her own team, and hit multiple people with her spells of Seraphine, like while also surviving like against like a blue Kayn along with a Yone as well
Sure.
from on
And
the
I
enemy
think
side.
that's a yeah, I think that's a great point. But also not just the Enchanter games. I think back like a series prior, and I believe Vetus got an MVP on a really nice Varus game, but in large part was getting set up consistently throughout that game by Lelouch's Nico. And I think we actually interviewed Lelouch after that series, and I thought that Nico performance was really good as well. So I think both, even though maybe the MVPs haven't stacked up as much for Lelouch, I think their bot lane is just as strong as the amazing play we've seen out of Project Tuesday's bot lane, and that's why I'm so excited about these matchups because I think both AD carry and support are both really really strong, and I think there is some also like some shared champion pools. I mean, you see right here, champions to watch. Both players champion to watch that's being highlighted is the Unara, so I think we'll see some priority on a pick like that. Although Mason just indicated this maybe isn't the roster they're running, so I don't know exactly if we got the assets correct or not here. Um,
Let me check.
but
I'll make sure to. Oh,
but
that's right.
that
That's I apologize. Yeah, that is. So they are running a different roster. I think the assets. Yeah, the assets generated incorrectly. That's my fault. I should have rechecked it. But yeah, it is gonna be it's gonna be Mason and Eden subbing in
Oh,
respectively.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's a different look for this team, but one that I'm still going to be excited to see. I think Eden and Mason have subbed in previously for them and have looked really strong. The series that Eden played with Vetus, I didn't feel like there was any real drop off from what we've seen from Illusion Vetus. So I think everything I've said, different player, different champ pool, but I'd expect to still see pretty similar results. I don't know if it changes my prediction either. But I am very excited to see more Mason. I think we've only got to see one series of Mason, and I think Mason's one of the better junglers in the server. So to get to see him come out, play against Blind Spiral, who I think's been playing like one of, if not the best jungler in the server so far this season, up there with Fishy, right there at the top and playing really well. That's going to be a fun matchup. Also, I think it's worth mentioning mid lane should be really explosive. I think Sandy's been playing really well this season. I also think LSD Dreams has been playing really well this season. Although it does look like we're getting into drafts, so I'll pause some of that discussion while we analyze what we have in the draft so far. And interestingly enough, we're seeing some mid lane bans targeted at Sandy, as well as just some absolute respect to the Blitzcrank, just taking that away.
Yeah, taking that away and yeah, so like it's instantly just going after LSD's dreams like comfort of Anivia, and then instantly taking away the hook champion and actually targeting Sandy's pool, which I actually think is a
Three
yeah,
bans,
I think
yeah.
actually it is a good idea because Sandy does have like a lot of those strong or just comfort champions for him as well in the mid lane, and so they're trying to basically give LSD dreams like a freer hand to like play.
Well, yeah, but I will say, one thing I want to point out real quick, Alec, is, Udyr has not been banned, and that's a champion that's pretty much permanently banned against Mason. So they've chosen to leave that up. I'm going to be interested to see if he's going to slam that, or if he's going to expect they maybe have some counter prepped and potentially hold his pick. But Udyr is a champion that Mason pretty much never gets in this server. So to leave that up in favor of three mid bans, I'll be curious to see what their answer is if he does go for it, because that had to be on your radar, and that was a conscious choice. But the Unara does get first picked. We just mentioned that's a contested pick between these two players. I mean, to see Yug take that, I like that confidence. But now I'm curious what Vetus's answer is going to be. But yeah, there's the Udyr slammed, and you knew that's coming. So whatever Blind Spiral has, you're going to suspect that it's something probably prepped pretty well, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And actually, yeah, I actually completely. I mean, like, thank you for reminding me. I completely forgot about Mason's Udyr. And that is just one of his champions. And there you're going to see, I guess, a Mundo Swain response. So it's going to probably be Mundo Jungle and also the Swain picked as well. So there's not going to be any questions of a flex. Um,
Yeah.
Interestingly
Swain,
enough.
well,
Well, I mean,
Swain is a flex. I mean,
it is
Dave is
a
a
flex
good
actually.
Swain player. Dave is definitely someone that can play the Swain. I'm assuming that LSD Dreams can also play it. Um, but we're just going to go ahead and
Ooh,
potentially lock in Cassidon, or I like the Aurora a little more.
yeah, Aurora is probably the better, especially against those champions that thrive against melee. Um,
Yeah.
but now you do have that range threat, and that like in Yunara, like it's really hard to play against like the Aurora spells because they're very just her spells are just simply wide. So
Yeah.
it's you have to be like kind of like cautious of like just running into a fight and like trying to like right click everyone like to 0 as Yunara because you can just get bursted in one shot.
Yep. We're gonna see some more bands come out. Ari gonna get taken away from LSD Dreams. May also look to ban something like the Galio, although I don't really think that's what you'd want to play here. Trying to think of what else LSD Dreams has performed well on this season. Syndra is still open. I do think Syndra can do pretty well into Udyr. Aurora, you got to position well, but not the worst. So may see something like that for LSD Dreams. Um, Gonna ban away some of Eden's champions now. Soraka getting taken away. Eden's also a really big fan of Morgana. Not too sure if that's what you'd want to pair here, but could be something to look out for as far as a ban. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think another thing like that they could ban is just the Nautilus. Like Fatal, like he's good at Blitz, but he's also good at Nautilus, and I think just taking away the champion might just be like what you want to do, especially when they already have like champions that like really need to get within range of you. Follow
Yeah.
it. And they actually take away the Milio instead.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Now, what I'm curious to see is, are they going to hold last pick for Kage here or hold last pick for Eden? Because they have not picked support on the side of PT yet, and Morgana Band does come through as I shouted out.
Yeah,
A Collie Hover is interesting. If you go for that, I'd be a little shocked. Instead just going to take Rakan. That's a fine blind pick support, but definitely something that can get punished. I'm curious if what Fatal will look for. I still think Nautilus, as you've already shouted out, is a perfectly fine answer here.
yeah, perfectly fine answer. And I think that I actually think that I really think you should just ban the Nautilus. I think if they're gonna like play Milio, like with their, I mean, I kind of understand why, but I think that like what their team really needs is like hard engage, which is like what the Nautilus is like gives them basically.
Yeah.
And so now you have the
Yeah.
hard engage, and now you can see. Then you pick yeah, and
Yep.
as you said, the Syndra. Now you can follow up off a Nautilus engage with Syndra
Yep.
burst. And you can easily do they can just do like their same thing they've done like all season long, which is just play like just pick one person and play a 4v5.
Yep. Now it is that does confirm that it's going to be that Swain top lane. Kage has the answer here. We'll see what it is. Has been mostly a tank player, which Swain does well into. So I don't hate the blind pick Swain. Will he go for something a little more potential punishing? It's hovering the Pantheon. And we're just going to lock in Ornn. Kind of in the bag. And I think that's just a good read by Project Tuesdays. You get Dave's comfort on the Swain, and you're just kind of challenging them, saying, Kage, you're going to pick a tank, man. You're going to pick a tank. It's going to be fine for the Swain. The blind pick Swain kind of goes unpunished here, in my opinion. And yeah, I think both teams are going to be happy with what they got anytime. I think you get Mason's Udyr, you're going to be happy. I think Sandy's been excellent on Aurora, and Vetus has been excellent on Varus. But on the other side, a lot of comfort for Project Tuesdays, no doubt.
Yeah, a lot of comfort for Project Tuesdays, and I mean on the side of however, on the side of Snarkify, we shouldn't like they are on their like I mean I think everyone on their team's like on a comfortable champion, so for their side they're probably happy. They're also
Yep.
probably happy with their draft. Actually, I think this should be a pretty good game because I feel like both drafts are actually very balanced.
I agree.
Both have like a well I don't, it feels kind of cheating to call Aurora um a control. I mean, it's basically just two burst mages, and then you have engaged supports on both sides, along with frontline jungle, like jungle and top, just who play like have like just frontline like brute like juggernauts like jungle and top, and then
Yep.
you have just on hit ADCs basically. Well, one's a crit ADC, but you know what
Yeah,
kind of
we'll see what build Vetus chooses to go for. I'm gonna assume goes for something other than just like the lethality poke. That is something we've seen him build previously. But a very smart player will definitely build to whatever he thinks is best in this game, and I would expect will probably steer more towards some attack speed items, looking to kind of punch through this Dr. Mundo and this Swain. Um, we do. Uh, I guess we'll see now. Kind of nothing too surprising. We'll see what the runes and things look like. I think I'm most excited for the Udyr. It is a champion, like I mentioned, that is just typically permanently banned away from Mason. They opted to go for the 3 mid lane bans. The nice thing about Fearless now is even if they lose to the Udyr, it's obviously then banned away in future games via Fearless. So don't have to worry about it. You know, I don't. I'm not 100% sure how Mundo will do into Udyr. I would think that Udyr would typically like a champion like Dr. Mundo who kind of just sticks on him. Like I think typically Udyr likes playing against like low range melee characters. Um, but I'm not 100% sure how that'll look. I do think Syndra as well as Yunara can be fairly comfortable into Udyr. So I think there will be a lot of responsibility of Rakan as well as the Aurora to find backline access in these team fights because I think Ornn and Udyr and even Varus will have trouble getting past the front line of Swain, Dr. Mundo, and Nautilus.
Yeah, the I mean that yeah. I don't think I could have said it better. It is going to be interesting to see like how these team fights exactly play out. Um, if uh, if like one person like ends up like getting picked or like a 45 breaks out, but I think that it is just going to be. I think it actually is, the onus is on just like whoever sends it first. I think that you really want to try to be the first one engaging.
Yep.
Because a lot of the abilities for both sides are front loaded and there's long cooldowns on them. Particularly like referring to like the Syndra and like the Aurora. Like you're probably not gonna get two ability rotations off before like the fight ends.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. Nautilus ultimate onto potentially either Aurora or Varus into like some follow-up damage from Syndra or Swain could be massive if that's how you're able to start your fights. Alec, I do think it's worth discussing, just as we got 2 minutes here for the spectator delay, another kind of aspect of this series that I think's at stake. I mean, that's the fact that Snarkify is undefeated right now. You know, this server, this is season 11, I think I'm right up. Yeah, season 11. In the 11 seasons or 10 seasons so far, there's never been a team to go undefeated in the regular season. You know, I've been in the server since about season 6, and I've seen some really strong teams over the course of this server that have just not been able to go undefeated. They all seem to somehow kind of drop one. And I think Snarkify right now, if you're able to win this series, you've got a pretty realistic chance. You know, it's not for sure. You still got 2 more series after this one, but it's not wrong to admit that you're playing against the two bottom teams at that point. So if they're feeling like they want to make this undefeated streak happen, you're kind of looking at Project Tuesdays here as if anybody's going to stop them, it might be them.
I mean, yeah, like this is kind of like the last bastion against like the undefeated team. I mean, well, I shouldn't. it's not the last bastion, but it is.
It's your
It's
best
the
chance.
it's your best.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah, there's
saying that.
nothing wrong with it. It is. This is like the only other team that has as many wins as Snarkify Rebellion. They do have a loss, but this is like kind of like I think Howard's like that is that is true. This could be like Snarkify's like like their way of opening up the pearly gates for that like easy like victory lap like of an undefeated season, but also for the side of Project Tuesdays, I think this is their like opportunity to like really showcase like how much like how much like their team can like adapt even like when they did like take a loss to like Metabusters. And credit to Metabusters, they're like on like they're like red hot right now. But
Yeah.
it is going to be interesting to see like how they decide they want to bounce back in this game specifically. Um, I'm really excited to see if Project Tuesdays can just show us like more of like the convincing stuff that they've shown us all season long, which is like their
Yeah.
like team fighting. And I want to see Snarkify really and like they're really strong team fighting as well. They have really strong team fighting as well, along with their what I actually would think is just like really good like macro decisions as well across the map when they play. So it's gonna be really exciting to see.
Yeah. And I mean, for Project Tuesdays here, if you win this series, you know, and you take off Alberts in the last week, you've all but locked up first place, first seed in the regular season, which is massive. Undefeated or not, getting that first seed is absolutely massive. And for all these teams, getting in that top 4 is also really big because, you know, that guarantees you that you start in the upper half of the bracket. So, a lot to play here for us. We're kind of wrapping up the regular season. And I mean, really, I think this is kind of the most hype matchup we've had so far of the regular season. And in the preseason, while I think you would have assumed this would be a good matchup, I don't think many people were predicting that it'd be 5-1 versus 5-0 right now. So I'm just really excited to see, like, really the 2 best teams we've had so far this season really just kind of go off and kind of give each other a good run here. Does anything stand out to you as far as, you know, rune choices or summoner spells?
No. I mean, nothing other than, like, looks like the LC Dreams actually opted in for us Airy. I know that there's a lot of Syndra players who, like, either go for, like, the first strike, maybe get a extra gold, or like to just go for the common, just go for, like, the full poke lane and try to, like, be super lane dominant, get an advantage off of that. But, yeah, actually really nice Hex Wolves. From Sandy there, actually, so it's already kind of, the lane's already looking quite favorable, but a Q being traded back twice from the side of LC Dreams. Yep. But there comes the Dredge line, actually, and there's the auto attack as well onto Snark, and he might get chased down, but no, Yoke's just going to get a couple autos in, just try to keep the lanes relatively low in health.
Yeah, some good damage, though, to start out here for the side of Project Tuesday's bot lane. LSD Dreams also trading pretty effectively. The Airy is an interesting choice. I do feel like you've seen people go more for the Comet so far in the server when they want that kind of aggressive lane power, but Airy's certainly an option here. Kind of, if you can get a lot of auto attacks off, I think Airy can kind of gain some extra value. And I do like the Ghost pickup. A summoner spell like Ghost is super strong when you're playing against champions like Udyr.
Yeah, I think being able to get away from Udyr is like a very big thing, especially if, like, you're a champion that doesn't really deal well with champions that get up in your face.
Yeah, we'll see how they're able to kind of play the little mini game that kind of exists between Syndra and Udyr, because as you know, I'm sure, you know, Udyr does have the ability to go unstoppable with his empowered E, and if Syndra uses her stun at the wrong time, Udyr can just ignore that.
Yeah, and actually another Dredge line as Hook does come onto Eden, but nothing else going to come of that, I don't believe. And yes, there's nothing else that does happen. But a really nice job from the side of the Project Tuesday's bot lane, just getting a bit more pressure, trying to force Sacrifice bot lane being a bit more confident. And actually comes another Dredge line, and you know, it's fatal again on these splits, forcing out at the grand entrance, having to be used defensively. And the shield does come back in with the Guardian as well proc, and it looks like the fighting has continued, but they are fighting in the wave. The Ignite actually dropped onto Fatal, Eden dropping really low, the shield comes out, but maybe Yoke can get a kill here. Maybe Yoke can just do it all. The grand entrance actually keeping Eden away, coming up just in time, and maybe Mason actually coming down in the bot side as we actually have a fight coming here. But Kage doesn't get the knockup, and Mason coming in, just with the storm. On Yoke's head, he's going down. It looks like that Fatal's going to be soon to follow next. It's a solo kill in the top lane for the side of Dave, but down goes the bot lane of Project Tuesdays. We have a bloody one so far, Gruer.
Yes, we do, Alec. And that's tragic for Project Tuesday's bot lane. Winning out hard to the 2v2, but I mean, you should know that Mason's clearing that direction, and he just walks down and picks up a kill and an assist. Absolutely massive for the Udyr's game. A great start for him. A shout out to Dave, does find that solo kill on the top side, despite the fact that Kage went for Ignite. Still finds that solo kill, so you're really happy if you're Swain right now. But man, what was started as a really good 2v2 ends up in a pretty rough situation. I mean, Yug is down 10 CS, and you look at the state of the wave, it's kind of stuck right outside of Venus's turret. So overall, I think they're pretty happy if you're the side of Snarkify Rebellion, because I mean, we can also say, you know, you died top, but that really hadn't been an issue for them this season. If Kage falls behind, that has never been a thing that's caused them to lose so far this season. So overall, really good start for them. Mason potentially with an angle here to walk mid.
Yeah, maybe would have potentially hit a walk mid, and LC Dreams doesn't have the Ghost available, but does have the Flash. Gonna pop the Wingborn Storm in. Gonna hit the scat of the week, try to get a couple more stacks onto the Syndra, and Blind Spiral has actually found himself into the bot side. This bot lane doesn't have any summoners, and Eden trying to keep it alive. A nice grand entrance actually to disrupt two, and probably gonna sacrifice her life for her AD carry, but maybe she soons to follow, but maybe not. And Yug trying to get one last auto in. No, he can't do it. Mason on the meanwhile is actually heading to the bot lane with blinking health bars on the side of Project Tuesdays. A nice piercing arrow laying out from Vetus, and he's actually just going to down goes Yug, and down goes Fatal. It's going to be 2 kills going over the side of Snarkify, and not what you want to see for the side of Project Tuesdays.
No, it's kind of the same exact situation. It just went from bad to worse. And yeah, I mean, I think Eden did a really nice job there, kind of tanked a lot of the...
Oh, and a nice W piercing arrow! Taking down Blind Spiral, he overplayed his hand and gets punished dearly for it.
Yes, he did. And yeah, I mean, Vetus is off to the races now. Mason's just been there every time as they needed to be. And like I was saying, I thought Eden did a really nice job of tanking a lot of the attention. But then, you know, he's playing the Rakan and is able to just dash away.
Able to just dash away, and I mean, there you do have it.
Yeah, but yeah, I do got to say right now, it does kind of look like it's Mason and Vetus's game to kind of take off. And I do think, you know, this is a good spot for Udyr. Like, he's going to be happy. They're going to be happy playing into some of these melee champions, especially now that they're accelerated. And it does look like Mason's going for the build where you max your R on Udyr, the little, like, storm, and you do a lot of AP damage. So, yeah, great start for Snarkify. And, you know, they've opened a 2.3k gold lead. It's 6.5 minutes, Alec.
Yeah, and you know, Greer, like, one of the things you have to really think about is, like, I mean, you did, like, mention a bit yourself, but, like, this front line isn't going to be able to survive against this comp if they get ahead. Like, the Udyr, like, it looks like the Udyr damage, like, max health damage, plus the Varus, the on-hit Varus as well. Aurora's, like, even if she goes, like, full burst, still has max health damage built on her passive. It's not gonna. This is gonna be an uphill battle for Project Tuesdays if they let this gold lead accumulate for the side of Snarkify.
Yeah, I do think if you can kind of stem the bleeding and just find some good plays, you're still fine. I think Swain is going to be a champion that they're going to have trouble to deal with. And then if Syndra, you know, can stay close enough in power level to the Varus, you definitely always are going to have that shutdown potential with Syndra's combo. So you're not out of it yet by any means, but the next play definitely needs to go in Project Tuesday's favor, and we'll see where they choose to put their resources. Looks like Spiral maybe trying to wrap around bot.
There's the Chain of Corruption and getting cleansed immediately from Yug, but still taking a good amount of damage. However, Blind Spiral has arrived on the scene, and maybe Eden with no ultimate available can't really do much. Getting ignited, knocked up, going down shortly as well. I mean, this is the good play we talked about. This is the good play you wanted. Snark trying to trade one back. I don't think he can do it. No, he can't. Shut down going over to Fatal. 2 kills, right back over to Project Tuesdays. They reclaim 1k in money. And there you have it.
Nice gank by Blind Spiral there. The bot lane absolutely needed that one, and it does come through. You do get a kill onto both the AD carry and the support. That is going to be nice. You trim that gold lead down to just 1.1k now. This does give Mason the opportunity to go start the grubs, though. That is going to be good for their team.
Yeah, that is going to be good for their team. And actually, a grub getting stolen. The Eye of the Empire sees all, and Dave takes away a grub. So it's not just, it's still a little bit like Project Tuesdays, just, you know, chipping away, getting these small little wins.
That's a really nice play by Dave. Credit to him having the awareness to know that the jungler's probably cross-mapping you on the grubs. And I mean, some of that's luck, but a lot of that's just the awareness to put it there, and really good stuff. I will say one thing I noticed in that gank, Alec, Blind Spiral popped the Mundo ultimate as he went in. I think typically you want to use that when you're lower health. But, so I don't know, I'll track that in future fights to see if that makes a difference, but I thought that was a little odd.
Well, I think he did it because I believe it gives movement speed. So, like,
it does, yeah.
So I could, like, definitely see it for that, man. I could definitely see it for that, but, you know, I mean, yeah, it is generally, you know, you always do want to use it when you're low health. But, I mean, not bad to, like, use it to, like, try to gap close a bit. And the Chain of Corruption goes a bit wide, and you're getting harassed so heavily. And this is an on-hit Varus, but it feels like the arrows are hitting like he's poke.
Well, I mean, Yug is 2 levels down right now. Oh, just hit level 6, but it's a full level down to Vetus.
Does have the Transcendence available now.
And yeah, I mean, Vetus is like first buying Gwinsu's, but it feels like poke Varus because of just the advantage that they've generated.
arrows hurt. And actually, Vetus actually ends up opting in for the Merc Treads. So he's choosing to elect that, like, you know, maybe like I'm not gonna be able to not always not get hit by like the Cinder Stun or this not CC, but like I have to like have like someone playing against it. And actually a really big trade as the Unleashed Power. There's a trade onto Sandy, but Nocto going down, that Null Mantle helping quite a good amount.
Yep, Syndra also did, I believe, get nerfed this patch. Lost some just like flat damage on the ultimate. So you maybe felt a little bit of that there too. And I do think the Mercs make sense. I mean, you have 4 magic damage champions on the side of Project Tuesdays.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, Yunara does also do a good amount of damage. Like, it's not like a huge
Mason
amount.
on Vision though.
Yeah, Mason is on Vision.
Like Kage's walking down though. Look at this play by Kage.
Yeah, and Kage actually has arrived. The Orange Horn is available. I'm not sure if LSD Dreams has sniffed this out. Does have the flash still available. Is able to flash the Orange Horn, so does live, but is going to lose his flash. And the Drake has spawned, so that might just be free dragon for the side of Snarkify if they choose to go for it. And their bot lane does have push, but
yeah, that's an interesting roam down by Kage though. Like LSD Dreams just was not expecting that, and now the Syndra has no sums, will be very vulnerable for the next 5 minutes to a champion like the Aurora.
Yeah, very, very vulnerable, and it doesn't look like they're going to start the dragon yet, as Mason just catching the mid wave, and the bot lane trying to regain the push.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, now that they have the push, okay, they killed the mid bait. Mason pick up some mid creeps.
Yeah, there's just no real ability to contest here. Should just be a guaranteed drag, and that's going to be second drag here for Snarkify.
Yeah, second Drake for Snarkify, and so at this point, you probably are going to be forced to fight them on the next Drake. But I think that we've seen a lot of teams, and like what some of the good teams actually been doing is like denying the ability to fight before there's Drakes. So your Project Tuesdays, like, you know, for the next like dragon that when it does spawn, definitely gonna have to play around like trying to like not get any of your flashes burned like in between like then and now, along with just trying to like save your key abilities. And actually a really nice scat of the week onto Sandy, but he does, I believe, still have the W available. And actually another like really nice spear like landing onto Sandy from LSD Dreams.
LSD, yeah, playing well, spacing really well.
Placing it really well. And Sandy just
Sandy has to be a little careful here. You're almost in range to just get one shot if a full combo comes through.
Yeah, very in range, and it looks like, however, they decided to go for a very aggressive invade here. Blind Spiral actually able to take away the red buff from Mason. A very annoying invade. And actually scatter the weak, and there's the Unleashed Power, but the Merc Treads are just a bit too much, even with the W connecting. And then Eye of the Empire trying to snipe out Sandy, but not quite there. And LSD Dreams might be going for a play here. I'm not sure if he can do it. Statweak actually hits. The W connects as well. It's a solo kill in the mid lane for LSD Dreams. And Mason is charging. He does have the flash available. However, the magic shield might be a bit. Blind Spiral trying to save his mid laner. It's not going to do anything. As guess what? The quickness is popped as well. Eden is alongside Mason, and they're running after this Mundo. The Wild Claw's coming out with an iron stance, and that's going to be Spiral falling down.
Yeah, really nice roam up by Eden there. It's just great awareness to say, I don't need to be in bot lane right now. I'm going to roam up, and that took what was going to be a kill for Mason into 2 kills for their team. So great stuff by Eden, and I mean, it was a nice solo kill. And
actually, it's actually going to be a flash hook, because maybe Vetus has been caught out here, and yes, he has. I mean, you did have the Dredge line like coming out, and it did connect along with the knockup. And it might not be enough. I mean, Yug trying to dash before the Transcendence, and there it is. The W from the upgraded W taking him out. And maybe Eden might be in trouble here as well. Yug trying to push a bit forward with the E, maybe, but no, the Rakan passive heal, the Q heal comes in just in time.
Yeah, but that's a big kill for Yug. And, you know, Fatal's dead.
Actually, maybe Fatal, just checking for vision, and that's not what you want to be, because Sandy and Mason are in the AO, and he falls down as well.
Both teams just not really respecting like what they see on the minimap right now. And I was just crediting how great Eden's roam up was, but Vetus has to know that if your support is roamed mid, you cannot be playing at turret. And that was just a great punish by the side of Yug and Patel to recognize that, hey, Rakan's going to be a late getting back to lane. You're too far up, and you get that shutdown, you get that kill onto Yug. It's good for them. And game's still really close here.
Force of Will connecting on Mason. Syndra is stacking quite well, and actually you see like also Mercury Treads also being invested into by the side of LSD Dreams. You know, very like worried about that burst that the Aurora does provide, and hitting a good amount of damage off.
Yeah,
that magic shield very big for both mid laners.
Yep, definitely. They did rotate bot lane up the top side here, though, so you're in a situation now where I assume they're just going to go ahead and start the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I think it is just a Rift Herald start, and there's a minute till Drake, so this is probably will be able to contest Drake as well. As, yeah, just there's Rift Herald falling, and you know Kage's pretty good to just keep the bot lane short alive, and so Snarkify, you know, getting some good advantages around the map, but Project Tuesday's not out of this fight yet. And actually, Dave might be caught out. The Chain of Corruption actually being dodged away from him. He pops the Demonic Ascension, and he's trying to kite it out. The Nevermore connects. He pops the second part of his Demonic Ascension, but it's probably not going to be enough because this Varus is completely ballistically fed, and so that's going to be a takedown for Vitas. And
that's his Udyr. Yeah,
just a rotation over to this dragon. And Sandy looking for the damage. The weirding of the twofold hex connecting. Some good damage on the LSD Dreams. LSD Dreams have a bit more. The Scatter of the Weak Force Blow comes out. It looks like the Ghost actually going to be popping LSD Dreams. Meanwhile, I don't know why we went to the bot side. It looks like the LSD Dreams was able to get away from the Aurora. Meanwhile, Kage getting abused a bit by his bot lane. But he actually decided he's going to pop the orange one because it's actually just time to send it. And Fatal actually hooking, but Kage unstopping the stun, and maybe Mason actually might be caught out alongside Kage here. This actually doesn't look that good for Snarkify, but Kage actually is able to live it at the end of the day, and Blind Spiral's in the midst of it, but actually at the end of the day, Vitas has arrived, and Sandy, the Between Worlds doesn't land on anyone, but doesn't matter because they actually get a pick onto Fatal. This is the opposite of what we've been seeing from Project Tuesdays. It's they're the ones who are getting picked. They're the ones who are getting their stuff burned before the fights, before the objectives.
And Dave TP's in here, but he has no ultimate. He used it in that top lane gank.
Yeah, used in that top lane.
I think it's just third drag.
Yeah, I don't think this is contestable at all. I mean, they look for a steal. Scatter the Weak lands onto a couple, and it's not really going to be anything at all. As there you have it. Like, it's going to be 3 Drakes now on soul point for the side of Snarkify Rebellion. And man, oh man. What a big win for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of this, too, is just like Snarkify, or excuse me, Project Tuesdays is used to playing from a position where their bot lane is winning, like where they have the advantage on bot side of the map, and that's just not been the case this game. You haven't been able to contest dragons. You rotated them up. You weren't able to contest the Rift Herald. I mean, shy of Dave stealing one grub with his W, every objective has gone the way of Snarkify.
Yeah, every objective has gone the way of Snarkify, and you know, at the end of the day, it just feels like Project Tuesdays is like getting like beat at their own game. You know, like I guess a weird sense. They just like, I mean, I did say before, but like they are just not able to get these picks before like an objective or a team fight. They'll actually end up being the ones at a disadvantage. Their bot lane, like you said, isn't ahead, so they don't have like that extra like strength of like their AD carry just being like ahead like in like items, and therefore like having a bit more damage to just win. And
yeah, I mean, Mason has 9 out of 10 KP right now. Has taken basically every objective. It's just kind of an Udyr masterclass, and you're seeing why this champion's permabanned against him.
Yeah, you are seeing this champion is permabanned against him.
And you know, like I wasn't sure in draft, but you know, I said I think if you're gonna give him the Udyr, you have to have like a counter prepared, and I wasn't too sure about the matchup, but I was curious, so I just looked. The win rate is majorly in favor of Udyr in the Mundo matchups, what I'm seeing, so I'm really not sure about the counter right now.
Not quite sure about the counter, but maybe Sandy's been caught up, but he actually uses the Between Worlds to get away. He looks at Eden sacrificing her life, and a crazy dredge line with the knockup as well to boot. Vitas should be able to flash, but it doesn't matter because the unleashed power takes him down. A huge mistake for Snarkify Rebellion. This could be Project Tuesday's moment to get back in the game, but the Hextech Proto Bowl able to keep Sandy alive at the end of it. 2 kills for them, really a huge 2 kills as the bot lane is slain. But man, you really wish you could get some of those shutdowns, but I think you'll just take
that hook was disgusting though, Alex. Like, how did that hit on?
I don't know how it completely. He was behind the wall, and it just decided that it was just decide to lollipop around and grab him.
Yeah, you kill the Varus, and you get both of Venus's sums. Venus will not have sums. Aurora will not have sums at the dragon.
It
That's huge for the soul fight.
I mean, Aurora not having subs at this Drake is huge for the side of Project Tuesdays. Like, these flashes not being available now, and so all you have to do really is just wait around 2 minutes. Don't make too risky plays.
Yeah, and LSD Dream's getting a base off
just
now.
basing, not like trying to look for anything here. It doesn't look like they are going to search for him, but Eden...
Yeah, LSD Dreams just bought a full needlessly large rod, so the Syndra is getting strong.
Yeah, the Syndra is getting strong, and I think that it is probably going to end up being Shadow Flame.
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen a lot of Shadow Flame, like, second item from, like, just a lot of the current mid laners. I think it's pretty decent. And actually, it looks like the flash line just completely whiffs, but the scatter weak connects on the 2, and maybe just Vita should shut down. The quickness being popped from the side of Eden, and Mason actually going in for a 1v3 situation. I'm not sure if he can win it at all, but guess what? Sandy has arrived with a beautiful 2 full decks and the weirding to connect as well. And guess what? Kage coming in with the Orin Horn. The bot lane of SR might have been slain, but Project Tuesday ends up losing 3.
That's a great teleported punish by Sandy. The Syndra and the Yunara lined up there, and both got just full comboed by Sandy at the same time. They're gone. It looked like initially a good play, but you're right, just punished it really well. Blind Spiral's probably just caught here.
Yeah, Blind Spiral might just be caught here, and he does have the ultimate available, but he has no friends in the area. Dave's pushing top. Sandy says hello, and goodbye, Blind Spiral. Excuse me. I mean, the smite's coming down. He's popping the ultimate. He's trying to live for a bit longer. I don't think it's going to do much. It's not. Sandy now unstoppable in this game. And
unfortunately now, Blind Spiral's going to spawn at the same time Soul spawns.
He's going to... Yeah, I think that this is probably just SR Soul. I don't see a realistic test, especially with all of their summoners burned. I think Project Tuesdays just sent it a bit too early. I think that they needed to wait. I think you really need to have Dave, like, at the fight before you even try to look for anything. Or, like, you know, even just your, like, more like if you're frontline members to make things more difficult. So the Udyr can't just, like, run into 3 of you. And then,
yeah,
like,
Udyr just flashed into the middle there, Alec.
Yeah.
Like, flashed in, and at first I thought it might have gone a little too deep, but Sandy was just there, and yeah, they got punished really well. And, you know, Spiral's on his way now, but I'm not sure if you can stall this. We'll see if they're able to stall it long enough.
And I think that they are just going to try to hit. They're trying to pull the Drake out a bit towards the bot side of the river, but it looks like that a fight is brewing. And I'm not sure if they are going to opt in to go in. I think that he's just take the Drake and run at them, as it looks like that Project Tuesday is not sure if they are going to go in. The Blind Silas says, let's just fight at the scatter. The weak connects on the 2, and the root connects onto Sandy. But I'm sure it's going to matter. A really nice depth charge to knock up multiple members, but out comes the in-between worlds to land on the 3 members of the side of Project Tuesdays. And meanwhile, Sandy is dominating in the team fight. Dave is trying to ascend, but he descends. And then at the end of it, it looks like that the members of Project Tuesdays are getting swept up, as it looks like 3 kills going over to the side of SR at the end of it, with Mason now on a rampage in this fight.
Yeah, it's just not really close. Like, they cannot deal with the front line, and Sandy's just doing an excellent job of getting damage onto the key carries. Just really found Yug in that fight and just took him out. And at this point, objective bounties are now online. You're down 7k gold. You're giving up Baron. I'm afraid this game at 23 minutes here might just be about over.
Yeah, it might just be about over, and SR...
Oh, they did actually stop the soul. I didn't see who got it.
Oh, they actually did. They actually were able to get... I didn't even see that as well.
But, yeah, I didn't see who got it.
It was, yeah, it was just... No, Blind Spiral got in and stole the...
Okay.
Let's see. I'm just going to go for a quick replay and just see what happened here. So Blind Spiral... So he's running in. He just walks up and he smites the dragon away. That's hilarious. I thought they got it. I thought he got it as well, but, yeah, I mean, there you have it. Blind Spiral, really nice steal from him, actually. It's going to prolong the game for a bit. But they do get Baron on the back end, and they have so much money. I'm not sure if, like, it really changes too much.
Yeah, and I just think you're just a little too far behind. And one thing is, you know, Syndra did go for just, like, this raw damage pin build, but didn't even go for, like, pin boots. So kind of some dis-synergy here going for the Luden Shadow Flame, but the Mercs. And doesn't have ability haste really in the build, so... And against these, like, health stacking, you're not one-shotting Horn, you're not one-shotting Udyr. They're just kind of lacking for damage right now, in my opinion, and you don't have, like, the CDR to get multiple rotations off in a team fight either. Yeah,
you really don't have the CDR to get multiple rotations off. And, I mean, like, you're seeing it, like, Kage, like, he has, like, just the 2, like, highest, like, MR items in the game, and, like, I mean, LSD Dreams is doing, like, just, like, I mean, that was, like, he got hit by, like, passive proc along as well. Multiple abilities hitting onto him, it doesn't even matter. I mean, he might just be able to kill LSD Dreams under the turret. Yeah, I mean, it's just really dangerous there as LSD Dreams, even being a bit cautious. I mean, yeah, here comes the Oranhorn. LSD Dreams actually doesn't have flash, doesn't have Ghost available. Kage might just look for a kill, but it looks like that Mason actually has decided that he'll pick it up instead of on the meanwhile. And yeah, I mean, there's the storm coming out. LSD Dreams not long for the world, burns the Unleashed Power, but Mason actually going a bit deep. You should give this to Yunar if you can. The Death Darch connects on the Mason. Actually a bit tiny bit too deep. A 1K shutdown onto Yug. What you really don't want to see. I don't think that was worth it all.
No, I think Mason was kind of feeling it right there. Did get the kill onto Syndra, but 1K shutdown onto Yunara. We'll see if it matters. You're still down a lot of gold, but hey, you get the shutdown. That's huge.
Hey, at the end of the day, you do get the shutdown, and that is really nice for the Yunara. I wonder what he probably is just going to be an IE.
That may, you know, Alec, that may prevent them from actually breaking open the base. I mean,
it might prevent them. And Blind Spiral actually might be in the middle of 3 members of the side of Snarkify Rebellion, but he doesn't care because he does go where he pleases. At the end of the day, I mean, Mason falls down. They still have multiple bounties on their team, and they still are up a hefty sum of money. But let's see what yeah, it's just going to be a raw IE and a couple longswords to boot.
Yeah, I mean, Yunara's getting online with damage, but just track Sandy in these team fights. Sandy is doing such a nice job of killing the Yunara that I'm not sure it's going to matter how much damage Yunara gets if they're going to be unable to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, this Aurora is looking extremely lethal at this point in the game. Has like a fully stacked Dark Steel as well, so getting a ton of value out of that purchase.
And also, I don't think we're seeing a ton of Swain value so far. You know, to be fair, it may just be because you've kind of been behind the whole game as a team, but I'm not sure if there will be a point where, you know, maybe Swain starts becoming enough frontline to create that kind of space that his backline needs. But as of right now, I think if we continue to see 5v5s, I still think it's heavily Snarkify favored.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the biggest thing actually that's not going Dave's way specifically this game is he just doesn't have like that much money. I mean, look at the turrets for the side of Snarkify. Like, yeah, sure, he has 250 CS, but it doesn't look like he's really chipped away at the turrets at all. And I mean, both, like, all the tier 1s are still up.
Oh, it might be caught
here.
Like
Mason might be caught, but a really nice CC immune to keep himself alive with the empowered W. Yep, or empowered E, excuse me. With the
Stampede. Steal again.
And it looks like that it might just be another fight for Saul. I'm not sure if Blind Style can get in there. It looks like, yeah, he's just going for it. And it looks like they're going for the seal, but here comes the in-between worlds. And he steals it again! Blind Style with a second seal! Sandy goes down in the fight! Young only touched a tiny bit, and maybe they should turn this fight, but no, Snarkify Rebellion just runs them over with the side of their wallets. Dave trying to do everything he can. A quadra kill for Snark so far in this game. It looks like he's looking for the pentakill, and I think he's got the pentakill. And there you have it. 10-4-5 on the Varus pentakill. Ace for Snarkify Rebellion. There you have it. It's in the name. A birthday penta. Oof.
Shout out, birthday Penta. That is awesome. Really good team fight there. They did a nice job stealing the dragon and actually shutting down Sandy, but you don't have the damage to win an extended fight.
No, you really don't have that damage. I mean, was just the wall difference at the end. They all got dangerously low, but at the end of the day, the Swain isn't really. I mean, he has a Leandre's Abyssal Mask. He's not gonna like insta kill anyone. He's not gonna like do like 600 damage randomly to everyone. But it doesn't look like the game does end, as they actually are going to end up moving off a bit further, and they are 8k gold. I mean, Fatal's actually chasing. I mean, this is probably the time you do want to chase. I don't think you want to let them leave. Nothing here. Yug is up and does have the Transcend available. TP's coming in. TP's coming in. So, I mean, this could be get a bit dangerous, and it looks like that Sandy's also TPing in to protect his team. I mean, the Aurora is there on the side, and it looks like that they are just deciding, let's just fight it out. Let's settle it right here, right now. And it looks like that Eden going in does have the quickest still available. Isn't quite able to pop it. Knocked it constantly stunned. Airborne. Just a bunch of CC chains coming down. But the Varus is gigantic in this fight. And Yug is dead in this fight. And down goes Dave. LSD Dreams is getting knocked away the Oranhorn. There's so much damage on the side of Snarkify Rebellion. It's overwhelming. That's going to be it for the game. It's going to be 1-0 to Snarkify Rebellion. Them just constantly finding their ways to fight it out in these team fights and just completely win every brawl. And yeah, there you have it.
Just a really nice game one from Snarkify. And I mean, frankly, the game was kind of cooked at like after that second Udyr gank bot when the bot lane was down 2 deaths, a lot of CC. I thought just a really good early game. Then they never really let go. Like I mean, like Kage died 1 death in that 1v1, never died again. Mason only with one death when they overchased a little bit in the base, but it didn't really matter. And you did have two drag steals, but at that point the game was pretty much done and just really good stuff. We do get to pick an MVP for game one. I do want to give shout out to Vetus. I thought the Pentakill was amazing. I thought they all played well, but to me, I feel like the MVP has to be the Udyr. I thought Mason just played an excellent game.
I think he did the MVP probably for that game is Mason. I mean the pentakill was sensational from the side of Vetus, but I really do think that Mason does get the MVP there. I mean he had the most kill participation on his team. Was there at every fight. Gave his carry space to play in every fight. Sandy and Vetus played around his positioning perfectly. So like out of in these games, so that worked out really well for them.
And I don't know. You give over the Udyr, and then you like self counterpick yourself with Dr. Mundo. I That's not the blind spiral we've seen so far this season, so I expect to see a bounce back in game two. But to me, that felt like you gave Mason their best pick that's almost always banned, and you didn't really have a good plan on how to deal with it. And as soon as those first two ganks happened and Mason started snowballing, the Udyr just ran away with that game and took all the objectives for the most part and just played really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, giving Mason that pick was just I think it was definitely catastrophic for the side of excuse me, it definitely was catastrophic for the side of Project
Project
Tuesdays. I'm sorry, I
Tuesdays,
couldn't find.
yeah.
I couldn't think. I'm watching them. I can't think of the name. But
Nah, I do think Udyr's a beatable champion, but you need a better game plan. Like, you need counter picks. You need champions that the Udyr struggles to play against, and they didn't have it there. But it is fearless draft. You don't have to worry about that champion anymore. We'll see what both junglers look to go for here as far as game two wraps around. Is there anything you're wanting to see in Game 2 draft? We do know that Project Tuesdays, they selected blue side for Game 1. They wanted that first pick, Yunara. They've chosen to go to red side this time. What would you like to see out of them?
yeah, this time I think I want to see out of Project Tuesdays is I basically just want to see them return to what they've always been doing. Basically, I want to see them just return to what like this strat what we're gonna focus on just trying to give our bot lane like an even just a very give our bot lane a good matchup. Have Dave just play a really strong blind top. LSD Dreams, get him on one of his try to get him on like a good champion, and just have Blind Spiral basically just play around um, the bot lane just a bit more. And I mean, there you have it. You're gonna see the Blitzcrank ban again for the side of Snarkify. They're not laying that through. They're taking away Fatal's support hook champions. That's Blitzcrank is his number one, so they don't want to give a chance for any shenanigans when it comes to that champion. And I am interested to see what they're gonna ban for the side of. Oh, Jesus, they're just gonna say, let's just get rid of. I think it's gonna be Sandy's champion pool again. And I wonder if they are gonna start targeting. I wonder if the Diane. I think it's Mason's Diana. I believe is his next thing, right? Does he go for? What does he go for?
I
Or
would say you have the Udyr, and then it's just a lot of champions are pretty similar tier for Mason. I
I
think
see.
in the past, in previous seasons, Mason's Echo has been really scary. Mason historically had a really great Hecarim, although I don't think they've enjoyed that champion as much lately. But you have seen Fishy play the Hecarim to some success this season, so maybe that's something you could consider. They're actually kind of sniping that Mason may potentially want to go for something like Ivern, and we're seeing different bans. Nocturne is left open. I'm curious, would Mason potentially steal away the Nocturne maybe with a first pick Nocturne?
yeah, I was hoping that they would steal away the Nocturne or steal it away, but I'm not quite sure what they're deciding on here. I think the Iron Band is good.
Yeah, this is
Um,
the Iron ban is leaving open one of either Silas or Fizz though, so we'll see if Sandy's maybe able to get one of those champions.
yeah, but it is in his
Silas is
wheelhouse.
the left open champ, yeah.
And the Akali also is available for the side of for Sandy if he chooses to opt in. I mean, there's the Nocturne, like you talked about it, and
Yeah, it's not really a champion that I don't really recall seeing Mason play Nocturne, but not the hardest champion, a champion that has been extremely strong this season for multiple teams, and it's a steal away from Spiral. I like that. I'm sure Mason can play it. I think this is good. Now, how are we going to respond? And I do think Shin, um, as the first response, does have the ability to try to peel cross map. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Shin can ult while the Nocturne ult is active.
he cannot ult when it is active unless like he's like literally standing on top of you. Yeah, so I mean the power of that Nocturne ult is definitely there. It is quite hard to play with like the Shen like I mean ult available, but I mean like if Nocturne doesn't like I mean he normally always like the person always normally gets taken down before the Nocturne ult ends. But it's still I'm not quite sure about that
Oh,
that Shen.
Vayne.
Yeah, and
Vayne,
Vayne.
though. Vayne is the answer.
Vayne
It's
is the
really
answer.
cool.
Yeah,
A lot of
Vayne.
scaling in bot lane right now.
Yeah, a lot of scaling. And actually, they're gonna opt into taking the Melio away. So that is one of Fatal's Enchantress supports that is have available, but they're actually gonna just take that away. I wonder if
Yeah.
now like you just pick. I'm trying to think like what you could really pick here. It's kind of hard. Um, Man, this is really tough. I feel like actually, Knowledge actually would have been way better, like even better this game. But it looks like they're just gonna take LSD Dreams Aries. They're gonna just let Fatal's pick just drop because his wheelhouse has been kind of damaged a bit. Um, yeah, so it looks like they're letting both Spiral and Fatal's pick drop, and now they're just gonna be banning away the Silas. Don't want any shenanigans from the side of Sandy, and I wonder if they're gonna follow up with an Akali ban as well.
We will see. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how both teams round out their drafts here. You do probably want to pair an Enchanter with the Sivir, I would think. Playing into something like Milio, considering that Blitzcrank and Nautilus are both unavailable. They are going to ban away Braum instead. I'm not too sure what Fatal will go for here.
Yeah, I actually think it's really hard. Gosh, I mean, Civet already doesn't have that like that good of a lane, especially into like Vayne. It just seems kind of rough.
I think Sivir will be fine in lane. Just be able to like farm. I don't think that's where your issue will start, but I don't know what you want to pair it with. Oh, they're actually betting Gangplank, so they have some idea that potentially this could be something like Shin Jungle, maybe.
Yeah, the River Shen is always a threat, and I'm curious to see what they are going to pick here on the side for their R4 for
Yeah,
Project
If it's
Tuesdays.
Shin Jungle, that's actually really exciting. That's a champion that I know hasn't seen a ton of play, but has been pretty strong on this patch with some of the new items. And they are going to pick Karma to pair with the Sivir. I like that. Pairs pretty well with Sivir. The movement speed is nice, and I also think Karma is a good champion as far as dealing with Nocturne in team fights. If Mason goes in a little too early, the shields or the roots could end up being really massive as far as peeling for the carries.
Yeah, I think Karma actually is like just I'm just thinking of all like the picks, and I think it actually is like the best pick that they could pick there. In response to the rest of SR's draft, and we are going to see the Echo coming out from Sandy, which is I'm not quite sure if the Echo is really that good here. I think can be good into Ari, but the rest of Project Tuesday's comps seem to match quite well into Echo.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can talk more about that in a minute. We'll see what the last pick is
Yeah,
first for
we'll
Dave.
see what the last
Blind
pick.
pick Poppy though is a risky blind pick. I mean, that champion can get punished in lane. So I'd like to see Dave go for a really good counter pick here. You're definitely, I think, going to need that because I think champion like Sivir may struggle to stay alive in this game, and we don't want a situation like last game where you're lacking in damage.
Yeah, let's see. Poppy is just available, and it looks like a Kale. There you
Okay.
have it. Dave has
Okay.
decided
Yeah.
it is Kale time. I mean, I'm a fan of the Kale. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how everyone else feels.
Yeah, we'll see how punishable it is in the early game for something like Nocturne, but I do think it's definitely another carry. I mean, the Sivir and the Kale are going to be massive threats come late game, and LSD Dreams' Ari has been just immaculate this season. There's been a lot of great Ari play. LSD Dreams right up there at the top with some of the others. So I do like the draft for Project Tuesdays, but I think if you're SR, you're very happy. I mean, I think Nocturne's been really strong. I think Vayne is pretty happy this game. I think. I mean, I don't really think Vayne's going to be under a ton of threat. Like, what's the best threat you have on Vayne this game? It's going to be really difficult to ever land like a Shen Taunt, an Ari Charm, especially if Vetus just goes for. I don't even know if you need cleanse because you have Milio, but if Vetus is positioning and playing really well, I could see Vayne being very hard to kill in some of these later fights.
Yeah, I can see that as well. But I think that one of the strongest tools on the side of Project Tuesday is actually the Shen W. I think is like their like one of their best tools. It can block a lot of the damage coming out from the side of SR. Not all of it, and not for like that long, but it can keep them alive for a good amount of time. And I think that you definitely want to be careful because they have a lot of pick on the side of SR, um, where you can just get like like Nocturne Echo follow up and like you just instantly dead. So
Yeah, I am excited. I love watching Sandy play Echo. I mean, I love watching anyone play Echo. It's my favorite champion, and I don't ever get to play it, so it's fun to see it get played. Um, but I don't know about the spot. Like, I think into Ari, it's fine. I think Ari's so strong. Like historically, I think it's better into Ari. I think Ari's just so strong right now that I don't even love the 1v1 if the Ari player plays really well. But into champions like Karma, Shin, Sivir, and even Kale, Echo's life may be hard this game. Like if Sandy's not able to snowball and get an advantage, I could see Sandy struggling to do a ton of damage in the later parts of the game. But you do have a dive buddy with the Nocturne. So if you have the Nocturne and the Echo are able to dive effectively together, I do think you still have threat. But it's certainly like there are carries on the side of Project Tuesdays that have some self peel, whether that's the Ari ultimate, Sivir spell shield, Kale's ultimate, plus you're gonna have Karma and Shin to try to keep you alive. I could see it being a little bit difficult for the Echo and the Nocturne to actually find backline access, like good backline access, and at the same time, then you're putting a lot of weight on the Vetus. Do you have a prediction here? Do you suspect to see Project Tuesdays bounce back? Do you expect to see Snarkify just have another stomping type game? What are you thinking, Alec? Because I know
I
you had, I believe you predicted Snarkify, but you did say 2-1.
I did say 2-1. I actually think Project Tuesdays. I actually really think they actually okay. This like I may have said like before with the series they have it. I actually think they actually have it. This game specifically, I think they actually have it. I actually really like their comp. Um, I like their comp because I feel that I think that like their answers into the dive from the side of SR are really good. I think Karma, Shen, and Kale are all like good answers into the dive. I think the one who kind of suffers the most in this game, to be honest, is the Sivir. I think this is like just the only like the real weak point of their draft. But everything else, I think I generally like. I mean, to be fair, but like SR, I don't really like. I don't hate their like comp either. I think their comp is actually pretty simple to play. But also at the same time, I think that um, it's probably kind of like the Vayne problem where like you don't have that wave clear or that wave like hitting like more than like one person in a fight, which kind of like
Yeah,
sucks because like a lot of our champions. I mean, like even like Civ as an example, compressed W. Last game there was Yanara, Varus like ult can like spread and his abilities can hit multiple people. Vayne is only able to like really just hit one champion at a time, and don't get me wrong, it's for a good amount of damage, but quite it's not quite like what you would like want like from like the modern, I guess what you would call the modern ADC.
yeah. I'm going to be curious to see what build Avitus chooses to go for on the Vayne. If it's just going to be like a real traditional attack speed, or maybe something like I know I've seen some Vaynes kind of go for more of like a Essence Reaver, like some kind of a crit thing where like your Qs are just like chunking people really hard. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I'm also curious to see what build Sandy goes for. I think Sandy's been a player on Echo that's really enjoyed just getting the Dusk and Dawn, maybe the Rocket Belt. I personally still think Lichbane is good in some spots if you want to just like play raw burst. I do think this is a game where Echo doesn't actually want to be auto attacking a ton, just because it's in the later parts of the game you're not going to win out trading autos with champions like Kale, with Shin. So Potentially, you could see something like a Lich Bane into a Shadow Flame, just like raw burst build. Don't know if that's something that Sandy enjoys, but it's something I kind of like in certain spots like this. Um, but yeah, another thing I'm going to watch for. Last game, Mason ran the early game objectives. Do you think we're going to see similar? I don't know exactly when Shin's biggest power spikes are in jungle, like how early he can fight Nocturne, if they're both just farming to 6 or what. But if I am Project Tuesdays, you definitely want to see some more objective focus. So you're not even to see like first 2 drags and grubs and Herald.
Yeah, I think that like this game specifically, sorry, I'm getting like lost in my thoughts. I think that this game specifically, Spiral has been like a lot of things have been turned on their head for Project Tuesdays. They are getting beat at their own game. SR is just able to just get the objectives. They're not. They're getting like the picks. They're not. And what you've ended up like seeing so far because of that is the fact that excuse me, switch the game. Sorry. But what you've seen from that is the fact that Spiral basically can't really contest a lot of these objectives. The objectives ended up getting taken by the side of Snarkify Rebellion, and because of that fact, of the objectives getting taken by Snarkify Rebellion, Project Tuesdays has been kind of having to be forced to play off tempo a lot of the time. Like they don't have they get back onto the map, they don't have anything, and then when they're either like picked or like a bunch of their spells have been burned or like summoners, there's zero way they can contest or even get like priority.
Yep, I agree with you. You know, one thing I do want to track. Last game, I know it got out of hand quickly, so we may not remember this, but the bottom lane for Project Tuesdays was hard winning the 2v2 in the early game, and I think a champion like Nocturne doesn't have quite the same ability to help his lane pre-6 like the Udyr did. So we may get a little more isolated 2v2 time for the bot lane, and we'll see if it still goes Project Tuesdays kind of heavily or not.
We will see, and again,
you know, Sandy trading pretty effectively so far. When you take score,
there's the phase dive actually, almost the passive proc and the time winder.
Wow.
Taking LSD Dreams critically low. I don't think you can really stay. I mean, he's level 2, but I think that a phase dive should be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, LSD Dreams really misplaying the level 1 against Echo. If you let Echo chunk you with the Q, you're so vulnerable at level 2 as we saw right there. And I mean, this is something we've seen from Sandy a lot. Has played really good early games on the top side.
Kage actually getting critically low, and Dave PTA procced up. The first blood's gonna come through. I mean, there you have it. Not respecting the early Kale damage, and Kage getting punished terribly for it.
Yeah, we saw an early kill to Dave last game, and then Kage cleaned it up, never died again. We'll see if able to do the same here, but yeah, did not respect Kale's early game damage. Had the Ghost there too. Maybe could have just popped Ghost and ran away. I don't know, but chose to hold sums.
Yeah, chose to hold sums, which I guess you really don't want to do. LSD Dreams actually recovering a lot of his HP. I believe that he actually had biscuits, so he actually was fine in the end of it. But I mean, there you have it.
Yeah, Sandy does get to get a base off here. I assume we'll buy the Dark Seal on Echo.
I mean, there you have it. There's the Dark Seal. And so far in this game, pretty steady. Good poke damage actually coming out from the side of Fatal. He's landing a lot of these Mantra Inner Flames, which are doing a good amount of damage. But no potions really procced, however. I mean, I think the Cozy Campfire has been doing a good amount of work along with the shielding as well. And look at them, just Fatal away. But some good damage actually from the bot lane of Project Tuesdays, and this bot lane so far early game, it's actually going the opposite of how it went last game, where they're actually the ones able to get pushed and actually able to fight back so far.
I mean, at this time last game, Mason's already double killed him, so
yeah.
A lot more stable lane phase here.
A lot more stable lane phase, and it looks like that the charm actually connects onto Sandy. Sandy, I don't think you respected LSD Dream's damage. Flash auto attack should do it, and yeah, there you have it. Sandy making a critical error, getting hit by the charm, the Foxfire, along with the Orbit Deception. You can't do that against Ari. It's way too much damage, and you're too low.
Yeah, I mean, I thought LSD Dreams misplayed like the level 1, but since then has laned really well. To find that solo kill there onto Echo's just massive. Like, for Ari to get a pre-6 solo kill onto a champion like Echo, really big.
Yeah, really big, and Sandy making a critical error in that game, as that is not what you want to do.
And I mean, this has been, you know, I think Anivia is kind of considered like LSD's signature champ. The Anivia has been banned so much that to me, it's kind of been the Ahri this season. I think the Ahri performance have been really good, and LSD starting off with a kill here, it's huge. Potentially can set them up to snowball this game. Nocturne looking for an invade. I don't know if he'll be able to do anything. I don't think he got the, didn't get the camp.
Okay.
Oh, they're wrapping on Kale though.
They are wrapping on Dave. I'm not sure if Dave spots this out. He does spot it out with the control ward, and he is running. But Kage is chasing after him. The parallel convergence comes out from the side of Sandy. But Dave wisely backing away at just the right moment. No 6 from Mason, so that means no go button. And
yeah, that's a Phaelites moment right there. I think that extra vision gave him just enough time to get out. And what's that going to turn into, Alec? It's going to turn into first drag for the start of Project Tuesdays,
which is what they've always wanted. It's what they've what they've always needed for them. And yeah, they are going to be able to get this with the priority they have on the map, and hopefully with the waves being pushed out, maybe SR can get a bit more control for their side. But however, Project Tuesday so far looking in command of this early game.
Yeah, much better early game for Project Tuesday so far. And I mean, you're playing with Kale, you're playing with Shen, you're playing with Sivir. You're definitely fine and happy to be scaling here. Because I do think at a certain point in the side lanes later game, Kale dominates both Echo and Poppy 1v1 in side lane later in the game. Yes, you have a Nocturne to always kind of threaten the side laner, but you know, if we get to a late game position and Kale's even or ahead, I do think it'll be very hard for SR to deal with it.
Charm's actually going to go wide. The timeline is going to come out with really good damage from the Echo passive as well.
Yes, rare kind of fumble with the charm there by LSD Dreams. That allowed Sandy to trade pretty nicely. But overall, I mean, LSD Dreams up a level right now. Doing well.
Up a level and doing very well.
Nocturne just now, or is level 5, should be getting pretty close to level 6.
And
has level 6 now.
Has level 6 now, and can just can and will just invade Spiral. Doesn't quite have 6. Probably just gonna take away his red buff. So
Sandy not as low as he looks because he has not leveled up the ultimate, so does have that. But you got to be a little careful here. If you're not fast enough with the level up and LSD Dreams finds a charm, you could potentially go down with that HP. Yeah, Spiral's gonna find out his red's gone here. Wow, Mason just took that.
But the Stand United now available for the side of Spiral.
I don't think
looks like that. I mean, here comes the Spirit Rush actually with the taunt actually to follow as well. But good damage actually coming on to the side of LSD Dreams. The Stand United comes out, but the Shadow Dash actually keeping them taunted. And it looks like that the damage barely coming through the side of Sandy. The phase dive, maybe he can get it, but no, he can't. It looks like that they are going to continue to go on to Spiral, but Fatal actually has arrived, and the Mantra Inner Flame is there. And Mason trying to dash in to make something get something done, but he can't because the blades come out from the side of Spiral with a flash taunt. And it looks like that Sandy's not going to be able to do anything as well as a double kill for Spiral. A beautiful response from the side of Project Tuesdays and a stuffed play for SR.
I thought at first that wasn't going to be that good of a play because as you saw, the Ahri was so low mana. But what a massive roam by Fatal there. Just completely turns that. And now that's just huge for Project Tuesdays. Really great roam from the support.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a really good job from, and I mean, Spiral actually blocked a lot of damage. I mean, the Spirit's Refuge, like the Stand United, and then the Spirit's Refuge. I think that Mason actually needed to pop his ult a tiny bit earlier, but it's kind of hard because he's already within. He's right. I mean, I said it before the game, but the Shen is right on top of the champion. He can just ult them. He doesn't have the Nocturne ult doesn't prevent that.
Yeah, I mean, Shen's Spirit Refuge, the W, has massive value this game. It prevents Nocturne from doing a lot of damage. It prevents Echo from potentially proccing the passive. Vayne is auto-attack damage. Like, well-timed Shen Ws can just make you damn near invulnerable against some of these enemy team champions.
Yeah, damn near invulnerable and very scary as... I mean, it looks like from the side of, from the side of Project Tuesdays, like they're like in a very, it's just not going well at all. And now, like, you know, like we already see at the Shen with like the Giant's belt, getting another Ruby Crystal as well.
I'm curious what build LSD Dreams is going for. We've typically seen Ahri's build the Malignants, but you know, didn't go for a Blasting Wand. Has two of the amp tomes instead. So curious what that's going to turn into. Would it be a Ludens on Ari?
I mean, I think it is probably a Ludens, but I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. I think that like Malignance this game is perfectly fine. I don't feel like you. I mean, I could see the Ludens angle for like the side of like just maybe like having like a bit more like raw damage, and you don't feel like that they're gonna really build too much. And I feel like the enemy team, like them building MRs actually would be good. And actually, here comes the Paranoia, and that's just an engage. The on-hunted is procced by the side of Yug, but he actually gets stunned up. Not using the spell shield, does pop the barrier, but Fatal actually in a very dangerous spot predicament as the Stand United actually comes through. And it actually looks like a turn, and it looks like that the Sivir walking forward, Yug hitting and not being touched himself. The Inspire coming out from the side of Fatal, and maybe Moon and maybe Mason might be in a bit of trouble as it looks like that the Charm Flash Charm comes in, but not quite enough damage there. And it's actually going to be a good response from the side of Project Tuesdays, keeping their team alive. But
yeah,
however,
I think Mason's spell shielded Charm there, so you get LSD Dreams' teleport, flash, and ultimate.
Really nice try from the side of Kage to get the stun, but he doesn't quite land it, and Dave's gonna be perfectly happy with that. I mean, that's gonna be Poppy, no flash. Sandy is able to get the mid wave in, and I think he does get a plate as well. But the second Drake, at the end of the day, that's going to be going on to Project Tuesdays, so that's going to be their prize.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice for SR that no one died in that bot lane play, but overall, I mean, it's second drag, the PT, and I think they're happy with that. Like they're two drags away from a Hexal.
Dave isn't aware of what's going on, and so looks like he's in a bit of trouble here. I don't think he is. He actually does end up popping the Divine Judgment, looking for the kill on the Kage. Oh, barely gets it, but he does shut down. Going on to Echo, and that's the person that you do need it on if you want to start coming back and being able to make plays in this game.
Yeah, Dave got found out that time. It's continued to just play really far up and did not respect the cross map. I mean, you know your team's on drag there. You kind of just have to seed a little bit topside. Didn't do it. Echo gets a nice shutdown. That's really big for Sandy. We'll see, you know, what Echo's able to do once that Dusk and Dawn is completed. But overall, I think PT's still pretty happy here. Although now, you look at Ari's items, does go for the Blasting Wand, so maybe building Malignance in the end and just kind of delaying that off getting those Amplifying Tomes.
Maybe just delaying it, and I mean, as we've seen so far, like, in these
Dusk and
games,
Dawn, though, completed. Yeah.
Things could get a bit more hectic. But, I mean, yeah, Sandy's been a fan of this item, so he's going to build it. And I guess actually, yeah, it looks like LSD Dreams is just going to opt into getting the Malignance. I think that he should.
Yeah, may have Malignance on base.
Yeah, it might have been one of those things where like like your shop, you're like thinking like, oh, let me just buy my like my classic Ludens, and like it's like, oh wait, probably shouldn't buy that this game. So
Yeah, it may have also just not had. Sometimes that Blasting Wand 850 gold's a little awkward if you're sitting there at like 500, 600, and just didn't want to wait for it. Wanted to get AP, so went ahead and took the Amplifying Tomes.
Yeah, absolutely. It is kind of awkward to just sit there because you're like, oh, this wave's like walking right there. I really need to go. So, yeah, it does end up getting it. And Sandy has been found in the bush. And it looks like that the Shadow Dash actually does come through the taunt as well. The Charm landing as well. And maybe like Fatal walks a bit more forward. And it looks like the Charm Root is going to come through. And they might just be able to force out the thing. But no! No, Sandy doesn't press R. He doesn't Chrono Break back. So he actually just dies instead. And I'm not quite sure why he just... I mean, the Karma Root was already through. There wasn't any CC left on the side of Project Tuesday. I guess he just decided that he was dead anyway. So, yeah, he just falls down.
A nice roam up. Yeah, that's an unfortunate death for Sandy there.
Yeah, but actually here comes the Paranoia on the top side, and it looks like that the Unspeakable Fear is going to connect on the side of Dave. But he does have the Stand United available because guess what? Blind Spiral has arrived with a taunt on to Mason, and he's going to walk forward, but the Divine Judgment was still available. I'm not sure if Mason even thought about that, but I guess he was trying to make the best out of a bad situation. And it looks like that Kage running for the hills, and he might not be alive a lot longer, but LSD Dreams decides to throw everything into Oxygen, which doesn't really do much, as it looks like that there's a fight here bot side, and the Condemned not quite finding the stun, but it looks like that Yug and Fatal are both walking back forward with the Cozy Campfire available. The barrier getting popped on the side of Yug with a bunch of damage with the Boomerang and Inner Flame to take down Vetus on the end of everything. And it looks like Eden might get chased here as well. Good damage with the Boomerang along with the Karma, and Vetus just falls down.
A lot just happened right there. I think Mason just thought they could get the KO, but Dave with just excellent reaction timing with the Divine Judgment stayed alive. Kage's fortunate to live there. But then we get to finally see some 2v2 bot lane without jungle interference, and it does go the way of Yug and Fatal.
Yeah, I mean, it does just go their way, and slowly but surely this like lead is starting to balloon towards the side of Project Tuesday. A really nice charm for the side of LSD Dreams. And, oh man, this is, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're seeing like the perks of this comp. Like, the issue is that because they're behind and the Echo, like, because they're behind, they don't quite have that, like, damage breakthrough for the Echo to one-shot someone, like, while, like, the end of the paranoia is down. And it's, like, the same thing as for Nocturne. He doesn't quite have that much damage. I mean, he does now have that Hex Plate, which should give it, which is pretty good for him, so he should be having ultimate up a bit more, but at the end of the day, they don't have quite the damage to burst down anyone. And not only that, but the side of Project Tuesday has a ton of survivability as Phase Dive comes in mid lane. Electrocute block is like some good damage, but
yep, sure Sandy's trading well, but I don't think actually able to find a kill. I think Spiral's ultimates on the Shen, the Stand United, have just been really good this game.
Yeah, I mean,
love the Shen as an answer into Nocturne much more than I liked Mundo as an answer into Udyr. I think the Shen into Nocturne's a really intelligent pick, and it seems to be doing really well.
That. Here comes the side of one Spiral, but guess what? A Condemn plus a Fear actually is going to come through onto Yug, and it looks like that Mason or Yug's trying to kite it out against Mason, but the Nocturne is hitting, and Sark should be able to get the shutdown. The Spear's Refuge keeps him alive for a bit longer. It looks like a fight actually breaks at the end of it. A beautiful Keeper's Verdict from the side of Kage, but it looks like that Spiral actually helps turn around the fight because the Spirit's Refuge is so broken into the side of Snarkify Rebellion. LC Teams dashing forward, looking for a kill. Maybe he can get one onto Eden. Maybe he can get a reset. And yes, the Orb of Deception with a Divine Judgment. LC Dreams is going off, and so is Dave as well. And there's the charm. There's the taunt. Down goes Snarkify Rebellion. Ace for the side of Project Tuesdays.
Wow, that looked originally like it was pretty good for Snarkify Rebellion, but the back half of that fight was just LSD Dreams taking over.
Yeah.
And critically, Echo didn't get ult off there. I didn't see if the Echo was CC'd or not, but wasn't able to ult in time.
Wasn't able to ult in time, and yet again, Project Tuesdays coming through with a really, really nice team fighting. And man, it's a far cry from last game, as it looks like that Snarkify getting put onto their heels this game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the Shen value is just massive. Yes, Yug went down, but the Spirit's Refuge kept Yug alive for so much longer than Yug should have been alive. Like, I'm loving the team fighting from Project Tuesdays here. And I mean, Vayne's on Essence Reaver now, but isn't that threatening yet? And Echo, not that threatening. There's just not a ton of damage for Snarkify. And that's 3 drags. Now you get the Rift Herald. It was all objectives last game for Snarkify. This game, Project Tuesday saying, hey, we're going to take the objectives.
I mean, yeah, Project Tuesdays, let's take the objectives. They end up taking them. And now, like they have 4 people with a shutdown on their team.
Yeah, and Kale's just so strong too. Like, it's a tough one because I do think you get outscaled. Yes, you have Vayne, but well, you've already touched on how Vayne is single target damage. And
yeah, it looks like actually found a play LC Dreams. The Spirit Rush is available, and he does actually try to use it with the charm as well. But here comes the Stand United, and I mean, it's what we've always talked about. And Snark going for the chem, but the Shadow Dash actually misses from the side of Spiral, and maybe they can turn this fight here. As Spiral, in a bit of trouble himself, doesn't have the Spirit's Refuge quite available anymore, and Snark is stepping forward with the Paranoia coming down. This could be Snarkify's moment to turn everything around. A huge fear onto Yug, and Fatal's actually going to be falling down as well. Huge shutdowns going over to the side of Snarkify Rebellion as they show that they're not quite out of this fight just yet.
You're damn right, Alex. Snark played that fight so well. Like, the Condemn was massive on LSD Dreams. Spiral was not able to actually peel that time, and the Vayne it just bought a whole item.
Yeah, the Vayne just gets a whole item. And man, oh man, I mean, like we talked about, like, the Sivir doesn't really get to have a good time, and yeah, I mean, there it is. And Kage taking a lot of damage, and Spiral's in the area, does have the Twilight Assault, autos available, the Smite comes down for the slow, but Kage with the Ghost, able to keep himself safe, and it looks like the top turret does fall down.
Good W from Kage there to peel himself, keep himself alive there. And I mean, objective bounties are off, it's only a 3K gold lead now. You're still not out of the woods if you're Snarkify Rebellion, but that was a great counterpunch.
Great counterpunch. And it looks like they might be able to fight themselves out of this hole. But actually, here is Mason, and it looks like the Spirit Rush is available again. A really nice charm, actually, from LSD Dreams. Maybe you can turn out the interception. Beautiful play from the side of LSD Dreams, and Mason overstepping and overplaying his hand. You're not that strong, but LSD Dreams is.
You get LSD Dreams last time.
But actually, here comes Snark. The on the hunt is popped, but so is the final hour. The Sivir can't really do anything. However, they have found Sandy. The bot side doesn't have much available. Doesn't have the shield. Maybe looks for a kill with the Time Winder face up. Maybe can find it. It's like, no, he can't. But Snark, can he get double kill? And Snark doing everything he can with Eden doing the healing and the Shadow Dash available. The Twilight Assault isn't enough. Maybe it is. It is enough. The Spirit's Refuge comes through from the side of Blind Spiral, who's on a rampage now in this game. And LSD Dreams has arrived. Eden's flashing away, but I'm not sure if the Shadow Dash is available. It doesn't look like it is. The kickball comes through. LSD Dreams looking for a play. The charm not quite connecting there, though.
All right. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Project Tuesdays is still fine in this game, but your bot lane needs to start respecting Snark. Venus is playing so good right now. They need to start
respecting Snark, but maybe the Paranoia has found Blind Spiral at the end of it all. He's trying to keep himself alive with the Key Bearer, with everything he has. The Blast Coating is available, but Mason has gone way too far, and they come and save their teammate. It's never just one member of Project Tuesdays. It's multiple, and Mason falls down again.
And I think they can look Baron here. I think you can just start Baron and have Spiral get back quickly if they want to, but maybe not going to go for that. Mid-turn instead.
Go for that. And I think it is just the soul in a minute that you are just looking for. Like the turrets for the tier 1s all across the map for the side of SR are finally destroyed. And I think it is time to just say, let's play this team fight. At the end of the day, it looks pretty good for the side of Project Tuesdays. The Kale has everything available. All flashes except for the Shen flash are available, but all the flashes down for the side of SR, so things are looking a bit dicey.
Yeah, your hopes and dreams are packed in a Vayne package right now. Like, what can Vetus do in this critical soul team fight? Keep all eyes on the Vayne here.
Keep all eyes on the Vayne, and it looks like
Bush cheese.
Bush, and the Bush cheese, the Shadow Dash actually goes a bit too wide. This Refuge is actually popped, however, so that critical cooldown is going to be down for a few more moments, as it looks like that they are trying to get the mid-wave pushed in, and LCG decides to dash forward because he says, let's kill the jungler, and the Divine Judgment going down, but the damage quite isn't there, and maybe it is. It looks like the Over Deception might be up in time, and he's able to pick him up. It looks like they have found Snark at the end of it all. Dave is unstoppable so far, and I mean, Eden's going to get taken down, making Blind Spiral unstoppable alongside his top laner. This game is just so difficult for their side. I mean, you're really going to have to count on maybe some Echo Burst magic here. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Fatal's coming in to ward off the Echo from any shenanigans. I don't think anything can be done. Yeah, Sandy is just going to get chased away. Blastgun is going to get popped. But he actually still could look for potentially the steal. I mean, the phase is available. No one's really stopping him, but the smite comes through. I mean, the Chrono Break also follows as well, but the Echo has no flash, and Dave is now dominating. So there you have it, 20 kills for the side of Project Tuesdays in this game so far, ballooning to a 7k gold lead along the way. They are doing a great job from this game, a far cry from how last game's 20-minute mark was going, but now this game, they're showing it how it's done.
Well said. And yeah, this is just going to be a Baron. Yeah, I was saying all eyes on Vayne. We watched Vayne die that fight.
Yeah, we did watch Vayne die. It looks like that's actually time to fight. And actually, Ellis Stream getting shut down before the other Baron's getting taken. I mean, Kaye going in with the hammer is enough, and Blind Spiral notably cut off from the rest of his team. This does just look like a Baron for the side of SR, and LSD Dreams making a critical error. You can't get picky for that Baron. A TP in from the side of Sandy. The objective bounty is claimed for the side of Snarkify Rebellion. They're not quite out of this yet.
Alright, there's no way that just happened. Wow! What happened there, Alec?
I mean, I think we all just saw what happened there. It was just a complete, disaster for the side of Project Tuesdays. I mean, LSD Dreams just not being respectful at all of the Nocturne, just standing it's just making it standing so far away from his team and just making it so easy for the Nocturne just to engage on him, and he just gets picked. And the rest of Snarkify, double TPs come in and they just collapse onto the Baron. That's probably going to be a lot of gold actually going back their way. And I mean, even though the Soul is available, it's a really strong one. It is the Hextech Soul. At the end of the day, Snarkify, now it's only just a 3k lead when it was 7k just a few moments ago.
Yeah, Vayne just picked up Infinity. As you thought the Vayne was hurting, the burst damage from a Vayne, just a tumble auto attack, is going to be absolutely massive now. I think you're still fine if you're Project Tuesdays, but you got to play this out cleanly.
You have to play this out cleanly, and Dave might be in a bit of a pickle himself.
Oh!
The parallel convergence does, like, shield gets blocked, but guess what? Blind Spiral actually has been found in the river, and he does have the Protoplasm Harness available, and maybe he's able to do something, but guess what? They actually just decide to use the Keeper's Verdict to boot out the Ahri, who has used the Spirit Rush. Snark's kind of chasing to look for a bit more, but at the end of the day, I mean, Blind Spiral just gets away.
Yeah,
it is
I
fine.
think Ahri's actually happy to get booted away there, got the save ultimate, and still get out.
Yeah, it is fine. And it looks like that Sandy might have overplayed his hand as looks like the Karma Root is coming through, but a nice Divine Judgment because Dave knows the shenanigans and he's now godlike. However, it looks like the LSD Dreams might have bit off the point.
Hey, just give up the turret. Just give the turret. Don't die.
Yeah, you don't want to give a kill over. I mean, they are just going to get this bounty. It is promised to them. And at the end of the day, Snarkify trying to find ways that they can fight back in this game. I mean, there is still a decent gold lead from the side of Project Tuesdays, but they have to be careful because this game is not quite over. And we talked about it. There's the tumble crit damage that we were going on about a few seconds ago, and it comes through. I mean, just 2 autos is there, and it looks like that. However, both mid lane and bot lane are being pushed. I'm not sure if they can continue this bot push, especially with the decent Ahri wave clip that you have available for them. As
LSD just canceled Vayne's back there critically.
Canceled the bases, and so I mean, the side of like Project Tuesdays is splitting, and it looks like that they have decided that it is time to try to kill Dave here. He's feared, he's stunned as well. I mean, that's so long. The Divine Judgment's coming through. Maybe he's gonna kill back, but no, it's gonna be a 1K bounty going over to the Nocturne. Game is still really, really hard to play. I mean, there is 4K gold lead for the side of Project Tuesdays. They've been kind of like going in and out between this. But that is a huge shutdown for their side. And it looks like that it is going to probably end up being an Elder fight that is going to happen in around 2 minutes.
We're really going to get an Elder fight in this game. I mean, even if SR ends up losing this game, the fact that they have stayed in this game and kept it so close and are probably going to force an Elder fight should be considered a big W for them, in my opinion, because they were dead to rights in this game and have just continued to fight back well. If you are Project Tuesdays, I still think if you just group up, play a clean front to back, you should be fine.
Yeah, if you're Project Tuesdays, you play that clean front to back, you should be able to work some magic in some form. But at the end of the day, a lot of good damage coming out from the side of Snarkify Rebellion. I mean, this Vayne, just like harping on it, is so powerful. And, you know, good job for Eden as well, just staying by the Vayne, making sure that Snark isn't able to do what he can do. And there's the mid-tier 2 turret falling down. I can't speak for a second. Blind Spiral actually able to get the grab, so that's actually a really critical pickup. It looks like that Mason's not happy about it at all as he pops the Paranoia, and it looks like that he really wants to kill the Shen, but the Shen actually burns Flash. It looks like that Yug actually walks into Strike. He's just gonna die! Yeah, the barrier's popped. I mean, the auto's there as well. It's gonna be a 45 for Project Tuesdays around this Elder. Actually, I'm not even sure if they can take it without the server being there. And I mean, it's what we keep going on about. You can't, like, it's Project Tuesdays, the game getting turned on the head for them. Like, it's their members who are the ones getting picked before the fight. It's not going like their way in these games so far. Like, it's such a critical pick, and Project Tuesdays gonna have to hold on for dear life to try to pull out this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss. I mean, Project Tuesday's just struggling to be on the same page, frankly. I think the Nocturne's giving them a lot of trouble, just like the disruption it's causing.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily Yug is up a few seconds before the Elder, so maybe the punish isn't that bad. The Elder does have 20k health, so it's not going to be instantly popped. But guess what? Dave's actually being sent down. But they've actually were looking also onto Spiral there. I'm not quite sure if this is going to work. And I mean, yeah, there's a Stand United, but the rest of Project Tuesdays is collapsing. I'm not sure if they want to take this fight. Mason trying to live in the Cozy Campfire should be able to get it done. It looks like the rest of the Snarkify Rebellion's collapsing, but guess what? Kage's playing Peeper Way, and he's doing everything he can, but the Spirit Rush has come through, and maybe LSD Dreams goes a bit too far, but Snark dies critically in the fight. He was just in the mix of it, and he got lost in the sauce. At the end of the day, the Keeper's Verdict hits onto no one, the Poppy Q doesn't really land, Sandy doesn't have enough damage, and Eden dies as well. That's going to be an ace for the side of Project Tuesdays, and I think that's just going to be the game.
That last fight was so chaotic. I mean, it looked like there was a massive advantage for Snarkify. They got there first, but they weren't able to get onto Dave, and then the Vayne ended up just kind of being caught on the side, and you gotta kill Kale there, and they were not able to, and instead of going for the end, they are just gonna opt to take the Elder Drag, so this game's not over yet, Alec.
Game's not over, but man, it is gonna be quite an uphill and up a mountain, actually, battle now. I mean, Coldly now back up to 7K, where it was actually now going to be slowly but surely returning to 8K in a few moments.
Yeah. Elder Drag is awesome, but critically, you know, Vayne does have Flash, so does Echo, so maybe you gotta have to wait out the Elder, but once that Elder's gone, Vayne does have Flash to potentially try to find an outplay. Is it 4 items now?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about that was they got very caught up on actually trying to take down Spiral in the river instead of just trying to run to where Mason was in the bot lane with the Kayle. He went and base effectively alone onto the Kayle. Couldn't quite kill the Kayle. In fact, started getting killed himself. And then as a result of all that, he had to like run back to his team. But at the end of the day, you really just lose that critical part of that Nocturne engage for a team fight. And so at the end of the day, Project Tuesdays was able just to roll up, come like save their teammate. I mean, LSD Dreams did fall down at the end of it, but he still got like several. I think he actually ended up getting 3 of the Spirit Rushes off, so it's plenty of damage for the Ahri.
Yeah, critically too, now Dave has the Seeker's Arm Guard on the Kayle, so it's going to be really hard to kill.
Yeah, really hard to kill, and it looks like it's just the Baron. I mean, Snarkify Rebellion is making their way into the river uncontested for the most part.
It's a lot of damage from
the
Baron.
Verdict is here with a huge knockaway actually from the side of Kage. That might have just sealed the game. And Fatal running for his life, and Dave does everything he can to stand United trying to come through, but guess what? Dave actually gets picked at the end of it. That Keeper's Verdict might have just saved the entire game, and maybe it just wins them the series as the Charm connects and the damage comes through from the side of LSD Dreams. But guess what? You're paranoid, and as you should be, because in comes the phase dive onto Fatal as well. Sandy picks him up. Spiral just running, trying to keep himself safe. He used to stand United on Dave, and I mean Yug and Spiral limp away, but the Baron is in the hands of Snarkify Rebellion. A huge play from Kage.
That's one of the best pop ults I have seen in this server. That was absolutely massive. There's no world they should be able to fight that, but he kicked out 3.
He kicked out 3, and at the end of it all, it looks like that they are going to be quite strong, but so is this Sivir. Sandy not quite respecting it. The Elder buff is still alive, and I'm not sure if he can do anything. The spell shield is there. Kage's walking forward a bit too far as well. He's ticking down, and there's the Elder buff, and that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to just lose members randomly. Getting so greedy to push instead of trooping with your team at this stage in the game is way too costly for the side of SR as they lose 2, and now they only have 3 Barons.
Yeah, I think you said it well right there, but I have no idea how this game's going to end. I feel like it should still be Project Tuesdays, but frankly, they're just misplaying a little bit, and members of SR are continuing to step up.
Yeah, continuing to step up and continuing to fight back as more and more. This game is not quite in Project Tuesdays' grasp.
Look at Vayne. Vayne just built a Randuin's.
Yeah, built the Randuin's.
Vayne's getting tanky.
Getting tanky, but I'm not even quite sure if you really need the Randuin's here. I feel like that you really just need like magic resist, especially against this team that has like both the 2 Rabadon death caps.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're getting more value out of a Randuin than you would just like a Guardian Angel.
Yeah, or even that. Yeah, just being able to like revive. I feel like would be critical as well, because you do have an enchanter for like that extra healing that could be quite useful in a pinch. However, it does look like that they are trying to pressure a bit. Yeah, they are able to kick them out of the mid lane.
You know, I will say one thing, you know, I think LSD Dreams has fallen off a little bit in this game. Like, kind of stopped farming there at a certain point and is only on 3 items right now. So the Ahri combo is not really a one-shot anymore onto a champion like Vayne, especially if Milio's there.
Yeah, not quite a one-shot anymore. And, you know, we are, like, saying, like, we are, like, you know, being a bit suspicious of the Randuins. But at the end of the day, it does reduce the critical strike damage from the Shadow Flame, so it's not from the Shadow Flames. So it's not too terrible, and it also gives that extra boon of health.
Yeah, I didn't consider the Shadow Flame angle. That's a good call out by you. I didn't think about that. You know, I'm curious. Are we just setting up for an Elder in 140, or is They're potentially going to be a play before that. Vayne's trying to sneak up here onto Ari.
And trying to sneak up here onto Ari. It doesn't look like LSD Dream's falling for anything. I mean, he's just playing safe. I feel like at this stage of the game, if you're either side, you just really want to try surviving and be proof to your team. I feel like being with your team is the name of the game. And Yug actually in a weird spot, but Mason's also in a weird spot as well. They actually might send it here. There are 3 members. The TPs are coming down, and both sides positioning for a fight. I'm not quite sure who's going to take it yet. The Baron buff still available for a few more moments here. It looks like a flash charm actually. LSD Dreams, a huge play. It might just do it. Yug now on a rampage. They're dashing forward. Eden might be next, and yes, she is. As it looks like that, or yes, he is. As it looks like that, Sandy trying to get away with the Chrono Break, trying to get more damage. But boom, that huge damage from the side of Dave. And guess what? Yug picks up that kill next, and it looks like that they're just going to push down the mid lane as they're going to try to defend. But that was a critical play and a critical moment from LSD Dreams. That's what you want out of the Ari pick. And man, oh man.
That was, you mentioned it, you got to stay grouped with your team, and they just did it. The Vayne got caught alone.
Yeah, got caught alone, and that's not what you want to see. As the 2 tankiest members weren't really able to do their job, which is tank, and like down goes these turrets now. I mean, there's not much that can be done. Paranoia getting popped. The Divine Judgment's still available. It's not good enough. And Kage trying to do all he can. Oh man, what a hard fight back from the side of SR. But at the end of the day, Project Tuesdays able to get a nice win to try to force this series to Game 3.
We're going to Game 3, baby. Spiral deathless that game, too, on the Shen. I thought it had a really nice game. Wow. That looked like it was going to just be a stomp, but then SR did such a nice job making that game competitive, and you hate to see it end on Snark or Vetus, who've been playing so well, get caught there, but just great recognition by LSD Dreams to, Flash just gets on him and snaps the door closed and slams the door shut, I guess you could say. And wow, that was a banger.
Yeah, it was a banger. And hold on, let's see. Okay, it looks like they haven't posted the links quite. Yeah, they haven't posted the links quite yet. But yeah, I haven't seen the links. But anyway, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome match. I mean, forcing this to series the Game 3. LSD Dreams, huge play, huge Ari flash charm play. I mean, yeah, like Vetus was out of position, but at the end of the day, like being able to just like send it right there, having the confidence to just flat, like, charm flash, get the kill for help, like your team, like follow up, get the kill onto the member that is the most threatening out of all of them. They end up doing
also
that.
have to recognize it too. I mean, Vetus was out of position, but like briefly. Like there's a window to do that, a small window, and for LSD Dreams to just recognize that window and to take it without hesitation, that was a huge play to end that game. We do need to pick an MVP for Game 2, Alec. Where are you leaning?
Oh man, that is actually so tough.
I thought Kale played a really good game. I do think LSD Dreams deserves a shout. That last play was awesome. Blind Spiral was deathless in that game. I thought Karma did a lot of work. But to me, I thought Kale was doing a ton of damage, played those team fights, especially in the mid to early late game, really well. But I don't know. What do you think? It's a hard one to pick.
Hard one to pick. Absolutely. And honestly, man, I would say out of like all the oh man, that's actually a really tough one. Personally, I would say that it's so hard. I think like Blind Spiral also had a really good game. LSD Dreams had a great game. I think at the end of the day, I think it is the Kale. I think that Dave.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah,
getting his lead, and then
it feels like forever ago, but I'll call you back to that fight where they tried to gank the Kale top lane, and then Spiral ulted in, and they really punished him. I'll call you back to that one of those fights where LSD Dreams went really deep, but it was kind of allowed by Kale's ultimate. And then I think the fight where it looked like the game had really turned SR's favor, but they overchased into bot lane, and Kale just killed everyone right before that first Elder. To me, those were kind of the standout plays ultimately, and I think the damage Kale did that game was huge. But I mean, that was a team effort from PT. And as we get ready for Game 3, Alec, interestingly enough, Snarkify, now with side selection, has chosen to go back to red side. Red side has won both games so far. If you are Project Tuesdays and you've been forced to go back on this losing blue side, what is your strategy here? What would you love to see them first pick?
I mean, I think in this, I think what they need to do, I think what they really need to do, for like just picks like wise, Snarkfire like, Project Tuesday Snarkfire. Excuse me, I'm sorry for their, for which side, for which team? I kind of got lost there for a second.
What
I'm
would you
sorry.
love to see Project Tuesdays do now that they got forced back onto blue side?
I think that because I think that because there's a lot of like, because I feel it's just removed a lot of the strong, like a lot of the strong blinds are gone, and a lot of, I think a lot of this, I think we're gonna see a lot of the same bands. I think at this stage of the game, what you really need to do is you probably are gonna end up having to try to hold for as long as you can mid counter specifically. I think you really that's like I think that's been like a key part. I know LSD Juniors does have some more champs available. He's not complete. He's not out of champs. Uh, However, Sandy's pool is going to get pinched a tiny bit more. He doesn't have that echo available anymore. I'm not sure if they're going to let him get the Silas, the Akali, or the Victor. I mean, he does have a. I think he does have some champions available that are probably going to get through, but I'm not sure if there's going to be like a realistic spot to play them. Whatever else teaching picks,
Yeah, I think the question is,
or
is
use the
Sandy
team.
willing to take like a first phase champion because he's been
Yeah,
getting pinched if he goes to second phase. So if
yeah.
you want something like the Akali, you probably are going to have to like slam that first phase.
Yeah, you probably are gonna have to slam that first phase, and also for the side of Project Tuesdays, I think that what you're gonna really want to do is you're gonna want to try to get. I mean, we saw like Fattel looked like great on the Karma. I mean, so like I don't think there's a problem just to play like Enchanters, like if he like if need be.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I wonder if like he does have any more like small picks. I mean, the Braum last time was banned in the second phase, so I wonder if they just take an early Braum at this point. I think that champion is still quite strong. Or if Fattel can maybe like if he does like play Alistair, I think that also is like a really
Fattel
good
does have a
response.
game of Alistar, has a game of Leona this season. If you are wanting like hard engage, has also played some Malphite support, 2 games of Malphite support, just FYI. Has also most played champ 3 games in Nami, so that's champion that may make Ryzen's priority this deep in a series. Um, Spiral's champ pool. I'm kind of curious what's left for Spiral. Nocturne's gone, Mundo's gone, Shen is gone. I assume they're going to continue to ban the Amumu, so that's gone. Mundo's gone. Not too sure what Spiral's kind of left with here. And yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a fun draft. I feel like I bet we're going to see something interesting between the two teams here as we've kind of gotten narrowed down through Fearless Draft. Um, yeah,
Oh
I don't
man,
know. I just hope Game 3 is as exciting as that last game was.
yeah. I hope Game Three is as exciting. I mean, that was a lot of back and forth. Hopefully, I mean, after this, I mean, if there is enough time, I am planning on. I'm not sure if whatever Crew's plans are. I'm not going to force him to, but I am planning on to move on to Rift Sharks versus Albert's Inferno, whatever's remaining from that series. If there is another game, I will try to make it to that. I'm not sure if Grew will join me. It's up to him. But uh, at the end of the day, I'm kind of my voice is kind of gone here,
that
but
that last game was just so exciting.
yeah, this game was so exciting that
And let's remember what's at stake here, Alec. I mean, this is a battle for first place, and it's a battle for Snarkify to continue their campaign as they attempt to be the first team to ever have an undefeated regular season in 11 seasons of Scrim Zone. If they are unable to win this series, that's going to be 11 straight seasons where no team has been able to pull off the undefeated season. So there's just a lot of fun things at stake here. Regardless of that, just first place in a regular season, we've already talked about, is so big as you get into playoffs. Both whoever gets first place or whoever wins this series is in a great position to get that first place spot. So both teams want it. Um, and yeah, just so much going on here. Um, I don't know. I'm curious too what Mason will go for, because I will say the Nocturne was not having the impact the Udyr had. So I'm curious if Mason will go back for more of a comfort champion, because I do think the Nocturne was more of a steal away than like a traditional Mason comfortable champion. So I'd love to see Mason go back to something that's maybe more kind of in their bag,
yeah, it
so to
is
say.
definitely. I definitely don't like. I mean, my personal opinion is like on like the like stealing away a champion is like. I feel like you should only be really stealing away a champion if you're also like able to like if you actually have games on the champion yourself. Not I'm not saying Mason doesn't have games on Nocturne, but if there is like just a better pick, like
Yeah.
maybe not like on paper like better pick, like if we just removed like the nameplates, but if we like we apply the nameplates and like, oh, this guy plays like you play a ton of this champion, maybe it isn't like as nearly as good as this champion here, but guess what, like if you pick it, you're super
Yeah.
comfortable, you know how to play it, you know like what exactly you want to do, you have the winning recipe, maybe just pick it.
Yeah, I do think both red side teams have done a good job of like drafting against what the blue side team is showing. Like it was a hard game for Nocturne to play. We do see pretty similar bans here, kind of a lot of the same. We'll see what they want to go for with the first pick. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not just another 80 carry getting locked in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just another 80 carry getting
Smolder.
locked in. And yeah, there is the Smolder, and Yug actually does have. I actually did look. He actually has a good amount of games on Smolder, so this is actually is one of his comfort picks.
Yug is a good Smolder
Yeah,
player, but I will just point out to us, Alec, Dave has Smolder in his bag, and against Kage's like top lane tank champ pool, maybe something you'd want to play. Well, we'll have to track that. But Jinx as an answer, I think would make sense. Vetus is an excellent Jinx player, and I think team fights have been so critical in this series that having a strong team fight AD carry like Jinx would be a good pickup.
yeah, it might just be time to draft for the team fight. Put everyone on a champion that has a really nice R button, and just try to send it. Um, However, at the end of the day, there is like there is a good amount of stuff that could go well for the side of Project Tuesdays and ways they can round out the draft. And they are looking for the Nami, so I mean that is going to give you that some more of that team fighting power and like just giving that Jinx a bit more damage as they do often to that Enchanter there.
Yep, I do like the Nami for Eden here. It's also a champion that Fatal had played 3 games on so far this season. So to both take a good pairing with the Nami and to deny it from Fatal, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick. And Project Tuesdays, I'm curious to see how they angle here. I think this is actually one of the most critical phases of the draft. Is this 2-3 pick right here on blue side? It's gonna be okay. So yeah, they're gonna go.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's the J4. It connects really nicely with the Smolder, and against champions like Jinx and Nami who do have high HP bars and can get picked very quickly. And if they're flashless, they do end up just dying to that
yeah, I
Cataclysm.
like that pick a lot. And wow, and you get Malachi, which is kind of a steal away from Kage potentially. I assume that's just Malachi's support, unless Dave would play that. I don't really feel like it's Dave's
Yeah,
champ as
that's
much as it
not.
might be Fatal's.
That doesn't feel like his wheelhouse. It feels like it is gonna be more Fatal's champion if he
But it's
decides to
great
take
gank
it.
setup for a champion like Jarvan.
Yeah, it is great gank setup, and it's gonna be interesting to see what
Ooh,
he also
Mason's
plays.
Volley Bear has been a champion that he has dominated on in games in the past. So I assume that's going to be Volley Bear jungle here. And as an answer into the Jarvan, I actually do like that quite a bit. I think this is a good spot for Mason's Volley Bear.
Yeah, this does look like a good spot for the Volley Bear, and I am curious to see how everything ends up playing out in this specific scenario with it. It doesn't. I mean, it actually does. Actually, it doesn't like match too terribly into like the side of um Project Tuesday's team. I could see a lot of ups like with like just being able to like prop like either like buffer like the Maokai Nature's Grasp, or just hop out of the Cataclysm with the ultimate as a response. There's also a good amount of healing provided from the Volley Bear with the W.
You know, Alec, what's left in the top lane tank pool? I mean, Scion's still obviously available, but outside of that, is there really anything left? I guess Cassante, but I don't know
Man,
if Kage has a Cassante in his bag. So if you're wanting to stick to this tank strategy top lane, you're kind of left with just Scion right now, I
yeah,
think.
you're kind of left with Scion, and they actually take away the Malphite, interestingly enough, away from Kage. They're worried about that snap engage going onto the Smolder, and the Fizz is actually gone as well. However, the Akali is open, but I'm not quite sure if you really want to play Akali here. And there's a Tom Kench,
Should be
which,
Tom Kent's top lane
yeah,
if you lock
Tom
that in
Kench top
here.
lane, and so yeah, we haven't. I don't think we've seen that in quite a while. It should be interesting to see how that all ends up playing out.
Yeah, I'm curious what Dave will go for the counter pick into that. Tom Kench is a champion that can be really hard to deal with in lane, but blind pick, I do think there are answers.
Yeah, there are answers, and I would be cautious about actually picking Smolder into Tom Kench because the matchup isn't as like easy as you think. You get hit by like a Tom Kench. Oh, and they actually they take away
Oh,
the Akali because they know that's what Sandy wants to play. And then with the Silas ban and the Fizz ban as well, there's gonna be no like match of assassins. And so
what do
Sandy,
you think Sandy goes for here? I mean, what would you want in
man,
this spot?
you can't really take Yone because that matchup's pretty difficult for the side of Yone.
Lysandra maybe, but I don't know if you have enough
I don't.
damage if you
Yeah,
go
I
Lysandra.
don't think you can take Lassana. I mean, you can maybe if you, but you have to play a pretty conservative lane, and you lose a lot of priority. There's the Mordekaiser actually.
Oh, I
For
like
Day,
that.
I
I
actually
like
like. Yeah, I
that.
think that is a really good pick here. You're able just to play keep away with one of the really tanky members. It's really hard here. There's not a lot of champions left. I mean, maybe you just play like full protect the president and just pick the Galio, but I'm not quite sure if that's really what you want to do
Yeah,
here.
that's you're.
Oh, Cassidon
Ooh,
though. Cassidon could be a good pick here. I mean, they have a good amount of magic damage on the side of Project Tuesdays, along with being able to escape that J4 ult when he pleases. And
Cassidon.
yeah,
Wow. I'm not really a big fan of Cassidon, but I'm excited to see it. Like, not a champion I've played a ton, especially recently, but I do think it's kind of a fun pick here. Obviously, is not as vulnerable to something like Jarvan once you're level 6. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of eggs in the Vetus basket, in my opinion. This game.
yeah, a lot of eggs in the basket for the side of Vetus. And I think one thing to think about this game is how you effectively want to try to play around this very dangerous engage from the J4 and Maokai. It is quite lethal if you don't have flash, and not only that, but there isn't a Akali to follow up off of their engage as well very quickly. Uh, the Mordekaiser actually also I think is like I really like them. I'm a big fan of the Mordekaiser this game. I think that just like he can just ult someone. Tom Kench obviously can't devour them, and if he just ults the Volibear away, they lose a lot of frontline health bar for the side of Snarkify Rebellion.
Yeah,
So
I could see Mordekaiser being a really big problem for Snarkify Rebellion if the Mordekaiser is able to get going. Because I think if you're able to just like ult the volley bears you're talking about and just kind of like take that out of the fight, that could be a big game changer.
yeah,
Or
that
even
could
the Cassidon, like if you're able to just ult Cassidon and deal with the Cassidon 1v1 and just create it so that there's not a ton of threat for Smolder, I think Smolder could do a lot of work this game. The other thing I want to mention, we have seen some really good Tom Kench play this season, particularly out of PB, especially like paired with something like Jinx, like peeling. I've not seen Kage's Tom Kench, and is kind of playing the top lane tank, will have to play well in these team fights to peel the jinx from a champion like Akali. I think kind of the mini game here that I'm going to be watching in these team fights is, what can what can LSD Dreams do to get onto the jinx, and is Kage going to be able and close enough to get that peel? And if so, I think Jinx could be really hard to kill this game. But I don't know. Like, is Kage used to playing, to peel something like a Jinx as Tom Kench? We'll see.
yeah, I'm not sure if. I mean, it's really hard this game. I feel like that as the Tom Kench, you have to play a really exceptional game this game, and Mordekaiser's not a great matchup for you. I mean, it's pretty much like because like most champions as Tom Kench for I because I have a buddy who plays Tom Kench top.
Ah,
Basically how he's always described it to me is that there are like some matchups where you actually think they're like bad, and it actually turns out that the matchup is like um you think the matchup's bad, but it actually turns out that the matchup's like actually like okay. You think some matchups are um good, and the matchup turns out to be not so great. And then it's kind of like Mordekaiser, which you already kind of think that's a bad matchup, and it turns out it is a bad matchup. So uh, it's really hard for like Tom Kench to play because normally what you want to do as Tom Kench is you want to like tongue lash, you get the slow, then you immediately like press like your abyssal dive, you hit the abyssal dive on them, get the knock up, like auto them a couple times, like scurry away, like you did your part, or you just continue the trade. But you can't really do that against Mordekaiser because if you try to continue to trade, especially when he has Conqueror plus his passive, he's just gonna like kill you.
yeah.
Um, so it's kind of hard to play against that. And not only that, but he has like a shield heal, which is really annoying for Tom Kench because normally he plays against a lot of champions that don't have like that option to just heal or like shield themselves.
Yeah, I will say I'd also really like to see Yug step up in this game. I think it was a hard game to pilot Sivir last game, but I think this series has been kind of uncharacteristic for Yug. I think we've seen much greater performances from them, and I do think that this is a game where the Smolder could potentially really take over. Like when you consider the fact that Mordekaiser should be able to peel one of the divers off of you, I do think this is a game where Smolder can potentially do a ton of work. So I'm kind of looking at Yug here to really step it up this time.
Yeah, I'm also like really interested to see how the Smolder performs. I mean, this is one of his very comfortable champions, and you could say the same for Vetus though. Both of them have a lot of games on their respective champions, so both ADCs in comfortable positions so far, and they were picked in like the very first parts of their team, their very first picks for both sides.
Yep.
So it is going to be interesting to see how this ends up matching up.
Shout out to Rope-a-Dope for the 5 gifted in chat. We do appreciate that. And yeah, I'm just hoping this one's close, Alec. Like, I'm gonna say it again. I'm beating a dead horse a little bit at this point, but this is the battle for first place. This is the battle to try to go undefeated for Snarkify Rebellion. So much at play here, so much at stake. Both teams having a really strong game and a game that maybe wasn't, what they wanted to see. I'm hoping game 3 here is just back and forth the whole way. And I think potentially it could be. As far as the early game goes, though, Alec, who are you looking at to kind of drive the early games? Obviously, it's the jungles, but where would you like to see them get work done?
This game, I think that you really just need to. I mean, like your J4, it's kind of simple. I feel like for J4, um, you just need to just run at like the bot lane this game. I mean, you can look if Sandy gets like tries to like. I don't think the Kassadin is gonna get pushed against a call. It's kind of hard for Kassadin because you don't really have like you only have like one or like two like abilities that are kind of ranged, but they don't really do that much. They don't really have high base damage. They have like good scaling, so you don't get stronger till later. But Akali is like kind of the opposite, where she has like okay scalings, but she has like amazing base damage on her abilities. So she's just kind of strong early already in lanes.
Yeah.
And so effectively, like mid's gonna probably be pushed in for the most part, is what I'm assuming for the Akali. So as J4, you effectively just want to and you probably just want to look for bot scuttle. So I'd actually not mind if Blind Spiral actually try path towards bot this game, especially when there is just a Jinx and Nami as well.
Yeah, I will say one thing. I think the worst thing that could happen for Project Tuesdays is kind of a repeat of game 1 where you're trying to fight it out hard, 2v2 bot lane early, or Spiral looks for a gank and it goes poorly, and then you have like a counter gank by the Volibear, and you end up getting early kills onto a champion like Volibear on a champion like Jinx. I think that's the #1 thing PT needs to avoid, is do not allow the Volibear or the Jinx to snowball quickly in this game.
Yeah, don't allow them to snowball quickly, and actually it looks like that nice 5-point strike from LSD Dreams.
We're not seeing the game on stream,
I'm
just
sorry,
FYI.
sorry. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry about that. We're in game. Nothing really happened. Don't worry, no one missed anything. I'm sorry.
We missed the pentakill.
We did, yeah, pentakill actually. But doesn't look like anything's happening so far.
Sandy took barrier plus spellbook. That's interesting. I haven't seen a ton of Kassadin, so I don't know what's really standard right now, but that's interesting to me.
Yeah. And so we are in game. But yeah, I think the spellbook. Yeah, I've seen Sandy run this before. I think that he just feels that like a lot of other runes like you don't get that much value out of them as you use spellbook. Like maybe you could take Fleet for like the sustain end lane. Electrocute's always kind of awkward for Kassadin, because you generally, like, especially early on, you're not going to get too much value out of it in the laning phase.
Yeah. Both top players went for Ghost. I think both those champions really want to stick. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
Jarvan looking for an early gank.
Yeah, looks like the early gank, actually. We actually talked about it. Sandy is just a bit too far up and aggressive, and his flash actually gets burned for it. However, he does have the spellbook, which should come online, which might be able to help him. But Sure Control actually does connect, and actually another 5-point strike with the Twilight Shroud, and LT is walking a bit more forward. Doesn't have the Ignite available, so it's not going to be a takedown angle. The barrier is still available for the side of Sandy. LC James.
Yeah, but critically, Critically, though, Sandy went for barrier, does not have teleport to quickly get back to lane here.
Doesn't have the barrier to get back to lane or teleport, excuse me. Doesn't have the teleport to get back to lane. And so like, yeah, he's just gonna might miss out on a bit of XP. Yeah, he's gonna probably miss out on some XP and creeps as a result of that, which you really don't like if you're casted in, because you really want to try to get levels and money. I mean, you kind of need both. Like the levels like can be really nice, but you also need to have some like items in your pocket to help with that scaling.
Sandy was able to at least get the tier purchase on that base, so does at least have tier now.
Looks like that Dave is just walking forward. Actually, is able to proc the passive with the obliterate also here, and the indestructible is available. And it looks like that the grasp, I'm not sure if he's used it yet. The ghost is popping Kage, but once while going in, looking for maybe a bit of damage, doesn't quite find it.
Ghost from Kage getting a lot of value there, able to get him out.
Able to get him out, and I think that they were just really taken aback from the pathing of Spiral. It's just a very aggressive path, and actually walking into the traps. Bamboo Smash slow is quite nice. But falling can be quite pressuring, especially when you are going against that Nami and you are the Maokai. You can only really throw your saplings out, and it's kind of hard to trade back. Because when you do trade, it is kind of almost an all-in as you are Maokai. More damage. Good damage coming in from the side of LSD Dreams.
Volibear spotted on a ward here, so LSD Dreams is really in no danger. Maybe able to help Sandy get the push in.
He's able to help you push in, and LSD Dreams trying to walk forward, trying to keep the wave in a favorable location. I don't think level 6 is quite available.
Bro, Akali is so annoying. I can't lie. Akali is so annoying. Volibear just having to like tax all this XP just to help get the wave in.
Yeah, they're trying to get the wave in, but like
he
might just kill him in front of his jungle, and yeah, there is a solo kill. I'm not quite sure what Sandy was doing. He had the barrier available as well, decided not to use it. What was that? Like, why would you not?
What was that? And Mason's just sitting there watching.
Yeah, watching. Mason just like literally quite sitting like in the corner in the chair, and it looks like that there might be a gank bot side. The bubble.
Oh.
He's gonna.
Fatal flashed in there, but Fatal tried to flash, set up for the Jarvan play, but the movement speed from Nami allowed Venus just to walk it out. That's pretty big for them, but it should still be first drag.
Yeah, the Aqua Prison.
But I mean, so far, this last pick Kassadin, that is like not how you want the early game to go.
Yeah, not how you want it to go at all. And it looks like that Sandy, however, is starting to pick up a couple more defensive things. He does have a Ruby Crystal now as well. It should help him a bit more with staying alive. It looks like, however, that
a summoner has disconnected.
There's a pause and a couple of disconnect reconnects, as hopefully this game doesn't just buffer like immediately when we get back. That'd be quite annoying. Hopefully it doesn't. However, we're in a pause.
Yeah. And I mean, to get a first blood onto a champion like Akali, and interestingly enough, I don't know if you noticed this, I just did. I think that Jarvan had used like the flag over the wall, so it gave Jarvan an assist because Akali must have got increased attack speed.
Oh, actually, oh my, wait. Actually, I want to see. Yeah, he does end up. He got an assist. I think we have time to look back. And so let's see. Actually, where was he?
I guess he just it was earlier than that. It lasts for a long time.
The flag is just here, and it gives him the attack speed. Like he has
He
has the empowered attack speed. Like there.
Hey,
wow.
Spiral's just saying thank you for that extra little bit of gold.
Yeah, thank you for the gold. And it looks like that we are gonna try to.
I will say one thing. Sandy has fallen behind some experience, but is only down just barely in farm. That's good at least. I mean, it is, scaling hard. To me, though, what is LSD Dreams going to be able to do with this early advantage? Yeah. Akali at level 6 is so threatening. And, we've seen a lot of, Volibears go for this, like, damage first 2 items, which it appears Mason is also doing. This should be Dusk and Dawn Rush Volibear. But, Alec, that makes you super squishy on 1 or 2 items. So, and against a champion like Akali, I'm looking at LSD Dreams to just really try to punish the mid-jungle of Project Tuesdays in this early game. Or Snarkify, excuse me.
I think we're all hoping that they do end up finding the punishment. And it looks like that I'm not sure if we're back to live just yet. I don't
I think
we
they're
are.
still paused.
Still paused for a bit more,
A
so
summoner has
we are going to be
disconnected.
waiting a bit longer, as hopefully soon we do resume the game, as this pause is taking quite a while. I'm not quite sure why it's taking this long. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that... Okay. Looks like that game. I'm not quite sure if. Okay, I'm not quite sure if. I think we just have to wait for the pause time to run out. So we'll be here a bit longer. And we are just waiting for the pause to expire.
I think we had a few people get up, must have, so
Yeah.
All right, and they just said BRB on their own side, so it may be a little bit.
So it may just be a bit. Hopefully it's not too long though. I mean, I kind of do just want to see. I'm kind of excited about this game. It's just been kind of awesome, I guess.
Alec, I have a question for you.
What's going on?
And there's you can answer it how you want now, but preseason, I feel like the popular opinion of these two teams, a lot of people were rating Snarkify pretty high, but a lot of people had, I think, Project Tuesdays a little more mid-tier. Where did you have them? Are you surprised to see them contesting for first place? And if so, what do you think has been like the biggest, unexpected thing to you about their team that's made them so strong?
I think so. When I initially, to be honest, before the season began, I did have them rated quite low, in the standings, and that was because their players they didn't really have they didn't use that many points, to be very blunt about it. However, as I watched their first game, I was like, oh, this is I actually watched both their first games. I was like, oh, that was actually a really nice win. In that game one, and in their first series. I know their second series was against New York Nutbusters, and I was like, wow, this team's actually pretty scary, and I think people should be... Excuse me. Oh, had a bit of a hiccup there. But I was like, wow, against New York Nutbusters, I was like, this team's actually pretty good. They play actually really well together. And then we all saw that coalesce when they played against Rift Sharks, and they actually beat Rift Sharks, which was ranked as a lot of people's this is the number 1 or number 2 team. And so... when they beat Rift Sharks, it kind of solidified, wait, this is actually a team, everyone needs to put on their radar and actually start to be, more aware of. And I remember interviewing that, after that game, we interviewed Spiral after that game, and he said, this, we've been playing, this, stack, apart from Fatal, have been playing together for, ever, basically. They've been playing for, years, together. And so, this is, their flex stack. And I believe that the only person that they normally have in over Fatal would be Stormy, who is ineligible to play, because I don't think they have enough games. But they end up Fatal's slotted in, I think, amazingly well into their stack, and yeah, they're all just I feel like they're all just used to how each other play, and so one shout out I do want to say out of all their team, is actually Spiral's picked it up a lot, that we've seen last season, and I think that is due to just him learning a bit more. Rift Walk, dodge away from Flag and Drag, nice job from Sandy, but Spiral has been playing exceptionally. Oh, hopefully this doesn't. Too long.
Yep, should be good now.
Okay. Oh. I think we should believe.
I think.
There we go. But anyway, yeah, Spiral's been playing, I think, a very good game. I think that I think he's improved a ton from last season. I would say he's actually, out of all the players, I think he's actually improved the most. Is what I even say.
Yeah, I think one of the awards that is given out, I do believe, is Most Improved Player. I definitely think he should be in contention for that one. But I think also too, you mentioned it pregame. This is their stack they've played with for a long time, and I think as a jungler, if you just synergize and you feel comfortable with your laners, I think that can help you out a lot too.
Yeah, I mean that absolutely can help a lot because you're used to how your jungler is like gonna play, or like how like your like solo laners are gonna play. Everyone's used to how like they're used to how each other's gonna play. And the Abyssal Dive is gonna be used, but Kage is in a bit of trouble. I mean he like is gonna like try to run away, but the Realm of Death doesn't allow him to. So he actually ends up getting taken down there in that 1v1. Flash forward invested from the side of Dave, and he actually ends up getting a solo kill there. So, and more pressure from the side of Project Tuesday so far in this game, and things could get just a bit more hectic.
Yeah, at what point are you looking for Cassidy to start turning this matchup?
I think that it's actually really hard, just due to the fact that like Akali just has high damage like early on. It's not easy, that's for certain. And you kind of, the way you have to like, I guess, play, and I mean another short different plans. Flash is flashed. Been very scared of the Akali R follow-up from that perfect execution. Might just get sent on here. I mean the Rift Walk. Just Rift Walks away carefully, and even actually getting knocked up. Doesn't have the Tidal Wave available. The bubble does connect, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Not gonna burn the flash. Flap, flap, flap. Yug trying to stack her, or stack him. He does stack him. At the end of the day, Eden getting stacked.
Yeah, they did a nice job giving that over to Smolder, too. This is a really good early game so far. Yeah. Kills onto all 3 carries.
Kills on all 3 carries. And I mean, there's the first a really nice flash. Long string, perfect execution might be enough, and I think it is the tower shot. Not quite going to finish on LSD Dreams. A beautiful tower dive and solo kill in the mid lane. It is a mid gap this series so far.
Ooh, that LSD Dreams. I hate Akali, I'll just say it again. I hate Akali, but that was so well played. Like, what?
Through the barrier as well.
I mean, the
second part of the R2 didn't connect, but a Gomwith in range. He queued, didn't panic at all, didn't like misstep actually to take an extra tower shot. Ended up getting the kill onto Sandy. Sandy, oh man, getting killed there is
like just to like, cool. Sandy's just trying to base under turret, and he just like flashed. But to not even die is the craziest part to me. I thought Sandy had like played that one to at least trade, but LSD Dreams, you said it. This game right here is a big gap. Sandy played great game 1. I do want to say that. It's not been the full series, but yeah, this game right now, LSD Dreams has been taking over. And Sandy at the R5. This was the R5 counter pick.
This was the R5 counter pick, and I mean LSD Dreams is turning on his head. I think that Sandy, like, Akali is like his champion, but he's not respecting just the high base damage that Akali provides, especially early on. The champion doesn't need items and is already strong, but like even like with the items it's just even stronger than normal, and so you have to be careful and wary of that damage that the Akali provides. And
yeah,
you like, as casting, you're trying to walk forward and trade, and it's not possible. I mean, you see it right there. Like, it's just, you can't walk forward and trade in this lane. Like especially at this point with the Akali having 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, the Volibear's really had a pretty quiet early game. Hasn't been able to find, any good ganks yet either. Maybe bot lane though.
Yeah, maybe bot lane is in a bit of trouble. The Nature's Grasp burned out defensively to try to keep Project Tuesday's bot lane safe, and it does. It wards off the danger of that the Volibear does provide. Mason electing that it's time to go kill more camps, or maybe get more vision as the jungler. He's going to do that. LSD Dream is really aggressive here. Does have the shuriken flip mark on the Twilight Shroud to pop himself back. He does that, and so he keeps himself quite alive and safe and comfortable. But yeah, so far in this game, I mean, a lot of pressure from mid, and we can see another plate falling down soon, as it looks like that Blind Spiral actually.
Oh, Spiral's here.
Here's the flash, twisted advance. The bubble doesn't quite connect on anyone with the Octopus. Eden burns the flash, but it's not going to matter with the tidal wave as well. But guess what? They were just, the Blind Spiral was in the AO, but I'm not sure if he was needed. I mean, that's just a kill, and I'm not sure if they can really take this fight. It's a 3v2 scenario. I mean, the Cassidy is running, but guess what? Why not? Let's just kill the Jinx. I mean, there's the Bramble Smash. They flash forward onto Stark. He actually goes down. Sandy's probably going to have to run away as well. He's going to have to run for the hills, get himself to safety along with Mason, but in comes the Flag and Drag. Mason trying to get a kill back. Yes, he does, but I don't think it's worth it all, because that's just another kill into LSD Dream's pocket. 3 for 1 for the side of Project Tuesdays, and not what you want to see for Snarkify Rebellion.
No, it really wasn't. I don't think they had any business of contesting that, and a great recognition of that fact by Spiral just forces the ultimate onto Jinx, and yeah, the 3K gold lead at 11 minutes. They're going to pick up their second dragon here, 7-1 in kill score. This early game has just been immaculate on the side of Project Tuesdays.
Yeah, and ooh, the Super Sonic Death Rocket almost taking away the Dragon. I think it actually was the damage. I wasn't sure about that. Maybe, I think it was really close. And man, that looks really suspicious there, but doesn't quite connect onto the Dragon. They end up picking it up. It's going to be 2 Drakes now for Project Tuesdays, and time is now of the essence. If you're the side of Snarkify Rebellion, you feel like you have to get something at this stage of the game.
Yeah. I mean, you do have a lot of scaling in your side. Volibear with this build scales hard. Kassadin scales, obviously. Jinx scales. But the lead is getting scary.
Yeah, the lead is getting...
The Gunblade completed, too, on Akali.
Yeah, so much damage. So, yeah, I mean, like, Sandy basically has to, like he has to use his force... I think it's... What is it? It's Force Pulse, I believe, from Kassadin. I can't remember, but it's his E. He has to use his E, and then he has to like basically use Q and E to try to clear the wave, and then like he has to, like Rift Walk away. It just feels so bad because normally on Kassadin, like even when you're even, you feel like you can like Rift Walk in a couple times and you're fine, but you really can't do that against Akali because if he does it, he could just get ulted on and maybe even killed.
Yeah, Kassadin's not a fun champion to play from behind.
Yeah, it's not fun at all, and so much pressure here in the mid lane. I mean, like, now with, like, this mid-prior, it just makes the game so hard for, like, Mason as well. I mean, he can't really, like, look for too many things, like, on, like, in the river or on the map. Like, he could get punished really heavily for it. I mean, there's the sapling, actually. Let's connect onto Vetus.
Maybe they can potentially try to find Spiral here on this blue buff, but I don't know if it's actually punishable.
I don't know if it's punishable. Look at that. Yeah,
I get it.
There's just so much priority from the lanes. I mean, man, it looks so hard to play. I don't want to, like, you know, call it before it's over, but
it's certainly not over after we saw how last game played.
I don't think it's over, but man, it looks just like a really difficult game for the side of like Snarkify Rebellion to play, and
yeah, you do have Dusk and Dawn completed on the Volibear. If they can find a good fight for Mason, potentially he could do a lot of work. Maybe they could find a shutdown onto Akali potentially, but it's just going to be so hard.
I'm trying to look at something here, but LC Dream in the Twilight Shroud, so you're actually not going to be allowed to do anything at all to him as Volibear.
Yeah, not a lot you can do with an auto attack champion into the Shroud.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the confidence of LSD Dreams to blind pick the Akali when you knew you were going to get counterpicked on R5, take that champion, just slam it, and to be playing such a good early game, it's really great stuff. Yeah. And now Mason's does get the big raptor at least.
Definitely is a moment for LSD Dreams. You know, whatever like you can do, I can do better. And I think he is definitely putting on a showing so far in this game. But and I mean, Blind Spiral's actually being very like, you know, like I said it earlier, but he's actually being so much more aggressive. Like when he can be is the biggest thing. He has the mid priority, or just even just like, you know, all of his lanes have priority, so he can just do what he wants. He can invade for the raptor camps. He can look for the blue buff. And he's doing that. He's like just putting a lot of pressure for this side of Snarkify Rebellion. I mean, the Volibear farming normally is good, but it's kind of hard when like it feels like there's a lot of damage. A really nice, perfect execution plus Shuriken flip. I don't think LSD Dreams is going to look for it though. The barrier is going to be exhausted at the end of the day, and Sandy just able to get a base off there.
Had to hold the breath there for a moment.
I had to hold the breath. And the breath was abated as a very quiet game so far. But if you are the side of Snarkify, I feel like you probably want to just be a bit more careful here. I mean, the Drake is spawning in 40 seconds. I think just trying to fight with all your summoners and all your ultimates might be just the only way to play it out. The Akali doesn't have R for a few more moments, but you probably will have it by the time Drake does respawn. It is a relatively low ult CD.
I do want to point out, so Sandy has used the spellbook to pick up exhaust for this next fight. Track how the exhaust gets used. A well-timed exhaust on something like Akali in this next team fight could be huge for their chances to turn this game around.
It could be huge to turn their chances around, and I'm not sure if they have, like, I'm not sure if Project Tuesdays has noted it as we have ourselves. Right, here's a actually decent trade actually coming out from Sandy. I'm not sure if he's gonna do anything. Ooh, there's like a really good poke though. Things getting more and more suspicious. A nice sure can flip the getaway, and Mason trying to do what he can to like give his mid laner a breath. LC James continuing to put oil onto the fire.
I think Spiral's just in the pit hitting this. I don't know if they can contest.
I don't think they can contest either. And it looks like that Vice Default's going on to LSD Dreams. He has the Shuriken flip available. I don't think he's going to ult in for execution. I mean, your team gets the Drake. They're down on Soul Point. I mean, I'm not sure like what you're going to do. Like, because like if they do end up getting like, I mean, cool. I mean, Mordekaiser, like Cloud Soul sounds almost impossible to deal with, if I'm being kind of honest.
I mean, the movement speed on a Kali too is just very threatening.
It's so threatening. You know, being able to get your like proc your assassin mark just even that much more faster with that extended move speed could be quite disheartening for the side. And I think at this point in the game, like even if Project Tuesdays doesn't like really accomplish too much in terms of gold, I think they're actually perfectly fine this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game plan for Snarkify needs to be just get items on Jinx and hope that they screw up a team fight and Jinx is able to grab some resets.
Yeah, hopefully skip the team fight, but it looks like that they might be looking around Dave, but Dave, wisely seeing that his jungler does not have the brightest health bar, decides to back away, and the game kind of just returning to its normal stay as actually has. I don't think Snarkify has gotten a single objective so far in this game, and it's almost 20 minutes. So
yeah, I really like that by
yeah, looks like she's the flash twisted advance, and the Bramble Smash pushing back into the Mom ultimate. It looks like that they are blocking forward, and Eden's trying to do everything he can to keep his ADC alive. It's not going to work. Super Scorcher Breath finishes off Snark. It's the killing spree now.
That's not good. They burned both the Snarks.
But maybe Mason actually in the area, but actually at the end of the day, Eden falls down. Mason trying to look for something here, does have the Dusk and Dawn damage available with the Smite, trying to find something onto Patel again, but there is no shutdown onto this Maokai. It's going to be a bit over 300 gold that he is going to be able to connect, and it looks like that Blind Spiral is in the area. Yug now just unstoppable on this Smolder. 5 kills and only 2 kills for the side in the entire game for the side of Snarkify Rebellion. LC James was walking down maybe just in case if something were to go awry, but Sandy making a wise choice to try to get some plates and try to get a bit of dosh back into his pocket. And it looks like that bot tier 1 does end up falling down. First turret going over to the side of Project Tuesdays. It's just such a strong game for their side, and man, I feel like if this is feast or famine, one side definitely is famining at this point.
Yeah, just really clean game from Project Tuesdays, which, I mean, they had a really nice lead last game, but they didn't play it super clean, kind of threw stuff back, which allowed that game to get messy. So far this game, playing a really clean game from their advantageous position and just not even giving Snarkify, options.
Not even giving them an option, and oh man, it seems like so.
Can we get a Smolder stack check here at 20 minutes?
Should go get the stack check right now. And yeah, he's at a bit. He's at almost 200 and closely approaching. He will end up hitting the 225.
No, he's hurting.
Yeah, and he's already starting to hurt. I mean, he actually a cleaver purchase just to end up giving it a bit more bulkiness, and I don't even mind it. I mean, it probably is actually pretty decent because the armor burn sure to end up reducing. Armor burn, the armor cleave from the Black Cleaver should end up reducing the armor a good portion. As strong, and the Wrath actually pushing Mason away. The Ghost is proc. They can't really look for anything here. I mean, Dave has way too much HP, and he's a bit strong, so I wouldn't try to look for anything. They are going to elect to walk away as they are a bit worried about where the J4 is on the map, but the J4 is actually heading bot, so not too much to worry about specifically.
Dave just playing that real calm and collected.
Yeah, a very slow and methodical game from the side of Project Tuesdays. And exactly what you want to see. The spontaneity of Snarkify Rebellion is not quite there, but it could happen at any moment. I mean, they do have the Jinx available, and even though like things don't look too amazing this game, at the end of the day, the Jinx is is always a threat, like in a game where if a fight goes wrong, like 1 or 2 shutdowns onto the Jinx, all of a sudden it's not like as it's not as easy as it is. As you
and
thought.
it's also Vita's Jinx, one of the best Jinxes we have. So I mean, you find the right fight, maybe you can get something going.
And actually, the Octopus does connect, but it looks like that does not even the second part of the perfect execution is not going to even be needed. Patel's in the area to keep his mid laner alive and safe. I mean, that was just a shuriken flip 5-point strike and just instantly deleted. It looks like they are just going to decide, you know what, let's just try to fight it out. Shuriken flip, however, is on Sandy, and it looks like LCG is going to use it. He's on a rampage now. Mason able to get another kill onto Patel as he's decided that he is the target. He is the person he wants to punish this game. But at the end of the day, he's never really had a shutdown. He does get a bit more, another 300 gold into his pocket, so you can't really complain. It looks like that they are just sending on to Vita's mid lane. And it looks like that the Smolder is here. Super Scorcher Breath gonna just take him down shortly. And Yug now dominating in this game.
Yeah, but, I mean, Mason is farming Fatal, but it's like the only thing they have going for him right now, unfortunately. That's Soul at 22 minutes picked up for the side of Project Tuesdays.
Yeah, it looks like that Mason has opted in to eating the tree bark, and unfortunately it's not the mint bark that you would normally get from Trader Joe's, but it is just today the bark that you would end up just getting that would get you 300 gold, but it's not turning out quite as well as you would have believed. And this game is looking quite not too appetizing for anyone's taste. And it looks like another shuriken flip, another good amount of damage coming outside the side from LSD Dreams. And, I mean, we can say what we want, but actually it is a Mirror Mana Cassidon, so Sandy's actually is going to be opting into that double tier build. Which isn't bad. I mean, Cassidon gets like the, he does get scaling. He scales off of mana and off of his R, so his Rift Walk will be doing a bit more damage. I mean, you do auto because you end up you always have to use your W auto to try to regain a bit of mana. So it's not too bad of a plan.
Yeah, it's a fun build. I just wish we were seeing it from an even game state.
Yeah, I wish we were seeing it in the game state. The shuriken flip just being kept on to Sandy. The perfect execution. First part of it is just enough to take him down. LC Dreams now unstoppable in this game. Yeah, and so at this stage of the game, looks like the Baron to start is here, and Mason might try to look for something. He actually does try to look for LT James, but the shuriken flip is available to keep himself safe. And I think that they probably should try to. It's a good idea to keep away. I mean, the Realm of Death is available for Dave. That's probably what's going to end up happening here. I mean, yeah, there's Realm of Death, and the shuriken flip actually lands up onto Eden. He's actually might just die immediately. The Twilight Shroud keeping LCG safe, but Mason actually still in the pit, and he actually steals away the Baron Nashor. I mean, there you have it, and there we talked about it. And actually an excited proc, I believe, from Snark, but they're going to have to be a bit more cautious than that, because now with the Baron slain, maybe you can actually do something. The Soul is on the side of Project Tuesdays, but all in all, it's not quite over yet, and they are not quite out of the woods as one would think. I think at this time you just need to run and get to the base. Things could get a bit more hectic. I just got a heart rate notification on my watch because, man, oh man, things might have just spiced up a tiny bit. But at the end of the day, things go quite well, and
yeah, I mean, hey, great. Mason is doing what Mason can to keep them in this game. Has 3 kills, gets the steal. They do pick up a turret.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they just didn't try to they went after kills there. I'm not even sure if you really need to kill the Nami there as well as things. I think you just need to be throwing all your skills onto the Baron while the Volibear is in the Realm of Death. You don't need to complicate it too much, but a huge steal, nonetheless, from inside of Mason. That's exactly what you needed in this game to try to keep yourselves alive and going for that undefeated record, which no one has ever done. We talked about it before, and yet again, here we are. I mean, there stands the grass, and it is time to trim it. So,
yeah, Vetus did just pick up a 3rd item.
Yeah, it's a Tech Optics. So yeah, the extended range off your Q is going to offer you that extra 10% damage, I believe, from the autos. And yeah, it should be pretty good. It's probably going to have to invest in an IE soon as well.
Yeah, I would think so.
But with the Hextech Optics, he's going to still be quite strong in this game. And
okay, yeah. Sandy has also closed the farm in mid.
Has closed the farm and is now level 16. I mean, it's like point at the clock. It is, it is till the time has come. So this Kassadin, really, really powerful in this game and a huge threat on the Rift. You have to be very cautious as, the Kassadin.
I mean, if they're able to stall this out till Jinx gets IE and Kassadin gets the second tier item, it might start getting a little dicey.
Yeah, it might get a little dicey. And it looks like that LSD Dream is not really doing much to the Tahm Kench as he just has a Kainic Rukun, which turns out is more than enough to prevent any shenanigans.
I think I'd like to see them fix their lane assignments. I don't know why we have Akali matching into TK.
Yeah, I feel like the Akali into the Kassadin was quite the angle that they wanted to play for originally. Yeah, I'm not quite sure either why they are having the Akali here top. I feel like at the end of the day, the Mordekaiser should just be top. But with this newfound Baron, Elder spawning in a minute, so everything.
Wow, it's going to come down to an Elder flip?
It's an Elder
Surely
flip
not.
because of the Baron steal. Now things are not what they have appeared to be. However,
and we've seen both junglers get steals in that game. One, the Mundo found some steals. This game, Mason's found a steal. We'll see what they can do with the Elder.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. And we do have to talk about the Smolder because the Smolder is a huge threat. Doesn't have
4 items.
It doesn't have the IE, but does have 4 items and has a ton of damage to boot. Has the execute available, and maybe they have just found Sandy and there's decided that it's time for Sandy to actually die. Does have Flash and Riftwalk available? I'm not sure if they're gonna look for anything. Looks like that Vatel has actually found Eden on the backside of everything. The Realm of actually is blocked. I'm not sure if he actually really needs to do that. Calypso actually comes through. Eden actually just ends up falling down, and Mom comes through, roaring through, taking everyone down. Shuriken flips up a ton of damage. Perfect execution, just completely blows up Mason. Sandy is running for his life. In the meantime, Kage gets executed by Mom. Legendary Snark trying to kite it out. It's a huge shutdown, however. It's a 1k shutdown, but that's going to be the Elder Dragon for the side of Project Tuesdays. They have 20 kills in this game to SR's 4. Trying to do everything they can, and it should be a good amount of gold for the Jinx, but I'm not really sure if you can recover it from this angle. I mean,
I think Kassadin maybe looks for the steal here. Has Smite!
Has Smite available. They're actually like, no, you cannot do that. And Sandy going a bit too far forward, a bit too quickly, and just getting taken down for it. At the end of the day, that is going to be the Elder Dragon. LSD Dreams pinging himself saying, hey guys, maybe I can get an Elder. They're saying, nope, we're not risking anything. We're taking the Elder Dragon right now. It's like, okay, I guess I will just respond without Elder.
If we saw a Kassadin Smite on steal on Elder,
I would have
been the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Not only would my heart rate monitor, the heart rate on my iWatch that probably gone off, I probably also would have had to been airlifted to the hospital. But in any case,
do you think we see them close the game out off this Elder?
I think that's a really tough question. Off Elder, I think that it is very doable. I think it depends. I think at this point in the game, you don't even really need to play the sides. I think you can just push as a unit. You have the Elder Dragon buff. I mean, you really have to be cautious. Smolder has to just not die. It's the big thing.
Yeah. There is no flash on Jinx though, so I feel like you could potentially just look for the Jarvan engage.
Yeah.
I need to see Kage.
Nature's Grass. I mean, there it is. Eden actually caught up in the middle of it, taken down. I mean, there's the Elder Dragon execution that we warned about and talked about. However, Mason has arrived. Might look for something here, but it's huge damage. But it's actually the flash through, and actually Young might be in trouble. But you get the execute off onto him, and actually he's able to flap he's alive. The executes are coming through. I mean, they have the Elder Dragon available. Snarkify Rebellion not able to do it, hinging everything on a pick off of the Yug. He's not going down. I mean, he's 13-0-8 this game on the Smolder. I mean, it's the comfort pick for a reason. He has games on it for a reason, and it's banned. It's one of his most banned chants. I think his most banned chant against him for a reason. And there you have it. Project Tuesdays taking down the undefeated team so far. It's going to be a 2-1 victory, hard fought all the way, and a beautiful, perfect way to close out the game 3. And there you have it.
That was just a really great game from Project Tuesdays. It was just a really well played game.
Yeah, not quite the game 2 that we did expect, But at the end of the day, it was an exciting game nonetheless. I'm happy that were able to view it.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking as far as that game 3 MVP?
Game 3 MVP. I think that one's just Yug. Like I think Yug.
Yeah, it was LSD Dreams for me at first. I mean, I thought LSD Dreams played an excellent game,
Yeah,
absolutely dominated Sandy in the 1v1.
I think
But
so
by
too.
the end of that game, yeah, the Smolder just took over.
Yeah, the Smolder completely took over the game. Like just went deathless. Went deathless in the game. Just completely just got like so far. I mean, all lanes were like winning. Like the MVP can like if you were actually like if I was giving an honest opinion, I think the MVP can almost just go to anyone this game. Everyone played like really exceptionally. I do think that like Yug was like a bit more head above shoulders than the rest of his teammates. However, for this game, so I would. I mean, Fatal to type in chat like he did out damage. I think so. It looks like that he out damaged uh he out damaged Dave, which is really funny. But at the end of the day, really nice game for the side of SR. It was really well played, and a nice try from the side of Snarkify Rebellion. I personally was very. I want to say excited almost. I guess excited could like be a word to use, but I was very much so looking forward to whatever was going to end up whatever was going to end up happening with regards. Um, I was looking forward to whatever was going to end up happening with regards to the. Oh my god! I just lost my. I'm sorry. I just like spoke and I completely lost my train of thought.
You're good. You're
Um,
good.
I was looking forward to like see like if like they could just pull out this undefeated season, and if things would have just gone. I think things like would have gone like a bit differently, especially in that like really back and forth game two. Um, I think that
Yeah,
like it definitely
yeah.
definitely could have been a different
I think
view.
so. And to me, I thought what was huge for them in this series also um, didn't get MVP in either of the games, but certainly could have. I thought LSD Dreams played an excellent game 2 on Ari and an excellent game 3 on Akali, and going up against Sandy, who has been one of the best performing mid laners. So I mean, just LSD Dreams continues to stack up against the best of the best, and I mean, is looking just as good as anybody. I mean, is arguably playing like the best. I mean, just another great performance, and I'm just thinking ahead, man, it's going to be hard to do the ratings as far as first team, second team roles go this season. You've got a lot of players putting out excellent performances at the top
Whew.
of the table.
Yeah, putting out excellent performances, and I mean, yeah, this Project Tuesdays team is looking quite lethal. I believe that. I mean, we do have time for. I mean, who do you? I mean, I've called in like interviews for like the like literally like I think like the past like 4 or 5 series. So like
I'd love to
who
just hear from the captain if Spiral wants to hop in.
Spiral, please make your way in here. I believe you do have the casting role, so you can't just join us whenever you feel like it. Um, is he here? Yes, he is.
What's going on, boys?
What's going on? Congratulations on the 2-1 hard fought victory. It's just like a bunch of people predicted. It was gonna be close, but guess you pull it out, you win. Uh,
Yeah, it was.
and I
It
mean,
feels really good, man. We've been looking forward to this series probably since the schedule was written. We kind of had Snarkify pegged as um, the best or one of the best, and so kind of seeing it in week 8 was a little scary, and seeing how the trajectories went with our schedules, we knew this was going to be a big one. Game 1 sucked, but I'm just incredibly
Yeah.
boys how it went from there.
Yeah, I thought you guys played an excellent game. I mean, game 2, little close, got a little dicey, but overall a pretty solid game. And then game 3 was just like a masterclass. I mean, just really good stuff. I am curious, though. I do have to kind of ask. We left open Udyr game 1 and we picked Mundo into it. Did we? What was the strategy there?
Yeah, maybe a little inty, and I think the game kind of showed that. I think I've had really good success on Mundo. He's one of my more comfortable junglers. He plays really well in that front to back, and so we kind of knew it was a B1 Unara, and then a more than likely B2 Mundo, and then kind of see from there. And we kind of tunneled on that, maybe a little too hard, and
Okay.
you kind of saw that come into play. So it was a good game plan, but just their first 2 picks, the Varus and Udyr, we stuck with it. I've had success on it, like I said, but not our best showing there at all by any means.
Well,
So a lesson learned.
Mason has done many wins on the Udyr through the course of the season, so server, no surprise there. But yeah, I mean, what do you think was the biggest difference between game one and game two and game three for y'all to find success?
Yeah, I think it's just a mental thing. That's one of the hardest things in this game is your mental, and it was just I've stepped up, I think, a lot more as a vocal leader, obviously as a jungler and as the captain, but just immediately, we're talking about this and that, and in a loving way. I'm just like, shut up, move on. Let's talk about this. What's the plan? What are we doing here? R1, 2. Let's just focus. And so, we get a little bit rowdy in comms and here and there, and I'm just yelling at everybody to shut up and focus. So, we're all excited about this kill or this pick. It's shut up and focus. And so we stayed locked in. You saw that in game two, and I was just on it in game three, and I think we just had the momentum.
Yeah,
After game two, we just ran with it.
I loved the Shen pick. I mean, you're a player that has used Nocturne to great success this season, so it's not too surprising to see someone look for a steal away because it has been a strong pick for Fishy and other players. But the Shen just seemed like such a well prepared counter pick, and you played it to perfection, I thought. I mean, game two and game three, you were deathless, but were you excited to pull out the Shen? Was that something you've been kind of waiting on if someone was going to steal your Nocturne? Walk us through that pick.
Yeah, so big fan of Shen. I know there's obviously that natural counter pick where if Nocturne ult, you can't Shen ult, but I think we had enough survivability, and then that showed to be the case. I love Nocturne. I'll pick him when he's up. We build comps around it, so Nocturne still will be a priority pick for us for a very long time. But I've been wanting to play Shen. It hasn't felt right in the last few series. I wanted to kind of have that as a trick in the bag to an extent, and so in the most loving way to QC and One Thief. That was ready in the bag if we needed to get to a game three type situation where we were feeling nervous, but kind of held on to it for some time for Snarkify. I'd actually been banging the desk to say I think this is good for a while, and now all of a sudden it is, and so it's kind of funny. But I've been on this for a while and ran it in a couple scrims within the server and out of the server to make sure it's locked and loaded and ready to go.
Great, Alec. Any questions?
I mean, I only have one question, and so, you guys are now at the top of the standings. You guys have that. You don't quite have the first place finish yet, but you guys are looking poised to take it. I believe you guys only have this makes you 6-1, right?
Yeah,
so you have you have one game left.
Just
if they beat Alberts, it's guaranteed. If they lose to Alberts and Snarkify wins its last two series, and I think Snarkify could still get the first seed.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that you guys are gonna be either you're gonna get slotted. Playoffs is coming up shortly in a few weeks. I mean, what are your thoughts thoughts preliminary thoughts just going into playoffs from you, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to sit here and I said it at the end of game three, see you in finals to Snarkify. I think it could go that way. I think Rift Sharks is also incredibly strong, and we didn't get to play them when they're at their quote unquote full strength. So there could be some changes there. But, not to throw back one of the greatest, most disappointing teams of all time, but season 10 Rift Sharks, Gru and I were on. We came from the sixth seed, really winning without our control and made it all the way to the top three. So I don't think you can discount any team. I think it's a bit top heavy, but when you're fighting for your life at the bottom of the bracket, it's a different type of fire under your butt to make it happen. So I think heading into it, I think we're locked in. I think Dave has assimilated to the top lane so well and is happy to kind of play whatever role we need for him. I think LSD has, I warned him coming into the season that, there's a lot of great mids in Scrim Zone, and I think he has to put his name in the conversation for one of, if not the best mid lane this season, especially based off our record. Yug has the ability to carry games like I've never seen before, no matter how ahead or behind he is. And Fatal kind of came as the last member to join the team as a for fun thing. And man, we weren't afraid he was going to hold us back or anything by any means, but we were thinking he was going to be one of the more weaker players on the team. And he just continues to outperform and outshine. It's just, we have such a good team. And even Deshaun and Stormy, our subs, are still actively involved. They're the best that they can be. We're just so locked in, and we're ready for playoffs to come along. I feel like we're really hitting our stride. We're playing great as a team. The subs, it's just, everything's clicking right now. Ready to, kind of bring that home here in the end, hopefully.
Yeah, ready to bring that home in the end. And so, Yeah, you're gonna have. I mean, two of your teammates, Dave and Yug, both got the MVPs for your respective wins. Your guys will be moving on to face Albert's Inferno sometime next week, hopefully. But it should be exciting to see. I don't have anything else. I mean, do you guys have anything else you'd like to say? If not,
I appreciate you boys showing
yeah.
up and casting. Like, thank you guys for being here. Thanks to all the and Draco. Like, I know Draco was kind of complaining a little bit in the caster chat earlier, but make sure we give some love to Draco because Draco's showing up and streaming these games without a caster just to make sure that we have access to see it. So,
Yeah.
props to them. Props to you guys. Happy birthday to Vitus. Good to get a pentakill on the birthday. Sorry that was it. Proves that you are not the father of Yug, I think, as we bantered about it yesterday in season discussion. But I'm looking forward to playing them again in playoffs for sure.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
should be a very exciting
Yeah.
matchup, and I would love to be able to cast that one. But that should be all from everyone. It's starting to get a bit later, and everyone should make sure to be kind and take care of each other and themselves. Because sometimes you have to take care of yourself before you take care of other people. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it from me. That's gonna be it from Spiral, and that's gonna be it from Brewer. Make sure to have a good night, and make sure to have a fun night. Goodbye.
Peace.